Support for The Gaming Outsider is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code THEGOCAST at manscaped.com. Hey there, Gaming Outsiders. On episode 376, Zack, CB, and I take a deep dive look at this year's Game Awards by Geoff Keighly. That takes up the majority of the news, although we do talk about Sony's latest acquisition as well. New games discussed this week include Halo Infinite, Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, The Matrix Awakens demo, and Jurassic World Evolution 2. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 376 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, December 13th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends, Mr. Zach Parkerson. What's up?
Just thinking about the power of Xbox.
Okay. What do you mean?
I watched the first episode of the Xbox documentary.
Oh, is that what it's called? Yeah.
Well, I think it's called Power On, the story of Xbox.
I feel like I still need to watch it, even though you said some not so nice things to say about it.
They're just very big fans of themselves.
Yeah.
In a very, like, a gross level that I don't think I've ever seen in a documentary before, which makes sense because Xbox produced it, right? So it's going to be rather glowing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is on another level. They compared Microsoft inventing the computer to the historical relevance of the Spanish conquistadors discovering the Americas.
Holy cow. That's a stretch.
That's a sentence they say out loud.
Yeah. I do have a very...
And there's an inaccuracy or two as well, so that's also not fun.
That's interesting. Inaccuracies. Glaring inaccuracies, if I remember our text conversation from earlier today.
Right, yeah, I guess the one I'm pointing out is that they say the Dreamcast had internet first, sure, but they only had dial-up, which is not true. They also had Ethernet.
I feel like I remember my Dreamcast having an Ethernet port on it, but I never used it.
It sure did, yeah. So broadband support wasn't in America. It was in Japan, though.
Uh-huh.
And so that's just a lie. They were just wrong.
All that matters is America, right?
Clearly. Yeah, so I guess it's not a lie if you're an outright racist.
Remember what was it, Team America, World Police, where every time they introduced a new area, it was like how many miles it was away from America?
Yeah.
That was great. But I got one other important question for you. Okay. How much did you spend on your Spider-Man ticket?
$750, because it was a matinee.
$750. Okay, so not
correct.
$800 or thousands of dollars.
No. And okay. I also bought it like yesterday.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, you are a smart man.
I've never had the problem of getting a ticket in my entire life. Most of the time, I just wait for the day movie comes out. I saw Endgame opening day by just walking up to the kiosk and buying a ticket. Yeah,
that's how it works. Well, You know what? We got somebody else here. It's not just me and Zach today.
Oh, yeah.
Also joining us is Mr. Chris Behrensmeyer. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
We thought we'd let you be part of the conversation today.
It's okay.
Have you watched the Xbox documentary yet?
No, but I have seen other documentaries that are really full of themselves.
It's not fun. There are some tidbits I didn't know, which is cool. Boy, I don't know if it's worth getting through.
Is there like 5 episodes or something?
6.
I'm sure CB will love it.
Oh, I'll watch it. But yeah. I mean, I love watching all gaming documentaries. So
I would love to talk to CB about it because I know he's got very passionate opinion on things. So I'd love to see his takeaway of this documentary. I think I am going to watch all of it just because I really want to see how they handle the Xbox One narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
The only way you can do it is, we messed up an entire console generation.
Pretty much.
Tell you what, I will watch it all. We will have a conversation as long as you watch the documentary Chasing Ghosts.
Is this about actual ghosts, or is it about Pac-Man?
No, it's about Billy Mitchell.
Oh, really?
If you want to watch a documentary that's completely like slanted to like ridiculous degrees, there you go.
I'm intrigued because Billy Mitchell seems like a guy who's the hero of every story he tells.
Oh, and they actually go into depth on his like Player of the Century award that they did, which you find out was not quite how it went. Like apparently Bandai Namco never knew about it. They did it in some like random like arcade, and all the girls that were there were hired off the streets.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
It's hilarious.
I need to watch that one. Anyway, let's talk about some of the games that we've been catching up on. CB, let's start with you.
Oh man, where do I start? So I rolled credits on Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm just so jealous of your time.
This feeling.
Man, what a game.
Couldn't agree more, CB.
I actually texted Zach as soon as I finished it because of a certain song that played.
I'll tell you what, we got different songs.
I know. We had a conversation about this. I'm like, did this game really just do this to me?
Wait, is it like a Telltale thing where like you make different choices and you get a different song at the end?
There are different things that can happen during the final fight.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna have to compare notes. Is this a spoiler cast thing we're gonna have to do?
I actually think so, because that game, all the villains that you see throughout the trailers and everything, kind of ends differently.
Huh. I'm intrigued. That's my first game I'm gonna try to tackle when I get on winter break next week and actually have some time to sit down and play games. I'm gonna try to power through that game first. My number one.
That's wise. It's going to come up during Game of the Year.
Yeah. Yes, it will.
I would imagine so. I
also played another game that showed up on Game Pass called Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator.
What in the world? That sounds ominous.
Yeah.
Is it what it sounds like?
Yeah, it is. It's exactly what it sounds like. You are a space warlord who is trading body parts to other aliens.
All right.
It should have been a mobile game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Easy achievements or?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not hard achievements, but it's very like fixed screen. It's like the green screen almost from the old Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the market opens. You can buy organs like eyes, lungs, heart, thing like that, and you have requests that you have to fill. And as the game goes on, it opens up more. Like, I'm to the point now that I can buy a soul.
Okay. Sounds expensive.
No, they're surprisingly cheap, like $314.
That's just the modern era, I guess.
Yeah, it's entertaining, especially if you read some of the their quests. Like, oh god, like my stomach hurts. I think I ate some acid. Can you get me a new stomach, please? Like that
sounds kind of fun. It kind of reminds me of the Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars drug trade.
Yeah,
which is a specific example, but that's what it made me think of.
So it's like a management simulator type game, or?
Yeah, because you are a new fledgling space warlord organ trader.
All right, that's odd.
And you kind of have to build up reputation, but build money, and there's like competing factions that you can pay off or bribe to, like, hey, for the next couple days, I need you not to buy like eyeballs.
Oh, you can control the market.
Yeah, it's actually kind of
just like WGA.
Yeah,
it's a game trading thing. Wait,
no, WADA.
WADA. I'm sorry. Yes, just like WADA, not whatever I just said.
Yeah. Oh man, did you guys hear that they released their first report?
No.
What does that mean?
So they actually finally released their first report of all the games that they've graded on Nintendo only.
Uh-huh.
Those are some skewed numbers, man.
Why?
No surprise there.
So there's like 127 graded copies of Little Samson that they've done, but only like one of Caesar's Palace.
I don't know. Is Caesar's Palace a rare one?
Well, I mean, finding any sealed game is rare.
Oh, gotcha.
But they're saying that they're like, oh yeah, there's, when you look at it, so it's like finding Little Samson sealed and graded is more common than finding like Caesar's Palace graded.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So it's definitely a weird report to read, and there's a lot of people like, these numbers seem really low in some areas and super high in others.
But these are ones that people have sent in, right? They have no control over what gets sent in.
Yes,
I feel like we're veering a little off topic here.
Yeah.
I think we're wading into a different conversation.
Yeah,
that's
fell
true.
down a rabbit hole. But
I
yeah,
CB.
Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator. It's interesting. I'd check it out. It's free on Game Pass.
There you go.
But my other exciting news is I got my hands on a Xbox mini fridge, Scott.
This jerk.
Wait, on eBay or did you find one?
No.
Listen to this story.
So I will tell story. I went to Target the other day to buy some like stocking stuffers and crap like that. Just needed toilet paper, things like that. So we're walking through Target, and AJ is like, "Hey, is that an Xbox?" And he points, and there's a guy coming out of the stock room with what looks like an Xbox mini fridge. And I'm like, I walk up to the dude, I'm like, "Hey, what's that?" And he goes, we've been going through all day. We had a bunch of orders get canceled, and we're putting the things back out on the floor.
Unbelievable.
Right?
And I was like, "So is that canceled, or are you taking that up front?" Because I thought he was taking it up front because they keep the stuff for like curbside pickup.
Right.
He's like, "Oh no, it's going back on the shelf." I was like, "No, it's not. That's mine. Thank you."
Yeah.
So
I had one in my cart like multiple times, could not check out fast enough. This jerk, I'm refraining from saying the actual two words that are coming into my mind right now. Just like happens to be at Target at the exact right time when one gets back on the shelf. This thing that people are paying hundreds of dollars for. I don't know. I guess I don't want one that bad, but it just the fact that I had one.
I want one for $100. That's the price I would want to pay.
Oh yeah,
for one.
I told myself, I was like, I will pay $100. That's it. And the funny thing is, like Scott knows, like I tend to be in the right place at the right time a lot.
No clue, no joke.
I was born under a very lucky sign, apparently. So I've actually plugged it in. It sits next to my Xbox Series X.
Is it as loud as everybody says it is?
Jesus, it is loud.
Yeah,
it is stupidly loud.
Yeah. I heard it doesn't get that cold either.
It takes a while. Like for $100 for a mini fridge that holds 12 cans.
Oh, I thought it was only 6 for some reason.
No, it holds 12.
Okay.
And candy bars. It's not the best mini fridge because I've had mini fridges before, but it's overly complicated for what it needs to be.
How is a fridge complicated?
So if you're trying to make this thing look like the Xbox, the cord is in the wrong spot. You have to plug it in near the top. So
it doesn't even make any sense logistically.
No. Well, the cooling unit is on the top.
Okay.
Not on the bottom. So you plug it in and it fires it up. There's a button on the bottom, like with a sync button, and that turns on the Xbox light. And then there's a button, the eject button turns on the green light at the top.
All right.
So you have to press 2 different buttons to get the lights to come on.
Okay, so it's a nice little night light as well.
It's bright.
Yeah,
it's real bright. It's bright and it's loud. But it took about 3 hours to get to like the level of like, oh, this is chilled.
Gotcha.
So, but it's definitely not something I would leave on all the time because, again, it is ridiculously loud.
So it's a novelty, a fun little novelty.
It is. I mean, I may talk to Nate and put some better fans in it because that's the problem is the fans are junk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that's definitely part of the problem is the fan in it is what's making it so loud.
Nate is handy with stuff like that. Like he knows how to fix stuff that I would never have a clue.
Nate Lucas, our producer.
Yes.
So it may get rewired somewhat to be a little more efficient.
There you go. I'm looking forward to it. Maybe next time we do a gaming session, we all just get together and put a bunch of beers in it. And
well, I mean, you'll see it on Wednesday, so.
That's true. That's true. We'll see it on Wednesday. Anyway, Zach, what else you been playing, man?
A lot of Halo Infinite multiplayer. I'm playing it pretty much every day, which is quite weird for me.
Yeah.
I don't really play multiplayer, let alone I guess I was gonna say let alone a first person multiplayer, but I guess the last game I really put serious time into was Titanfall 2, so I guess that's just a lie.
Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to say the Battle Pass improvements are really making this thing sing. Because when it launched, the XP was just a complete disaster.
Mm-hmm.
You would get like 50 XP for a match, whether you win or lost.
no matter what. Now you get 300 XP for a match, your first match, and I think you get 200 after that. And it kind of whittles down. It's just a smarter way of doing it. So if you were put off at first, I think it's a good time to jump back in. It's just it's a lot of fun. I think they must have upped the percentage chance to get into Slayer, because I'm playing a lot more Slayer than I used to. Right, because they put all the game modes into one pot for this game, which infuriates everybody but me, it seems. But yeah, more Slayer, fast progression. Just feeling good, man, and it's such a great game. I wish you guys would check it out.
I will.
I'm just still perplexed. Like, if you had asked me at the beginning of the year if I thought Zach was going to be into the Halo Infinite multiplayer in December, I would have been like, no, that doesn't make any sense. No,
and I would have said the same thing, because I didn't really I actually quite hated the multiplayer in Halo 5, and I thought Halo 4 just kind of was a boring game all around.
Mm-hmm.
But, the refinements of 6 years of development and Joseph Staten coming in and fixing it all up, it works, man. It sings. It feels like a Bungie Halo multiplayer, which I never would have assumed based on 343's earlier, productions. So it's cool, man. It feels like Halo, which is good, because there hasn't been a good Halo game since 2010.
Well, we'll talk about the campaign later on in the episode, which I think all three of us have been playing for sure.
Although I do, quick, if 343, if you're listening, that sometimes the loading screens, they always have little notes, right? Tool tips. But they always have a quote from like Halo or whatever, usually, with them. One of them says "Hang 'em high," which is my favorite Halo map ever. And how dare you taunt me with it? That's all I want to say. Put it in the game or take it off the loading screen. It hurts every time.
Even I recognize that name.
That's a great map.
Is that the really large one?
It's like large, open. It's got a bunch of pillars on the ground floor, especially. Yeah, that map, awesome.
What was the one? Maybe I think it was the original Halo, where there was like a giant chasm between two like multi-level stacks, and you could shoot across the chasm to the other one. It
was like two sides of a ship.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but that is also that first Halo really knew what it was doing with maps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those two stand out to me. I could not give you the name of another one, but those two for sure stood out. So
Blood Gulch, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, I know that by name, but I can't remember what it looks like.
That's just the icon. That's the two bases at each end of the map, wide open area in between them.
Maybe
it's
that's the
first-person shooter map.
Yeah.
No, I think I think I know what you're thinking of. I just can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. All right. As for me, I'm not going to bore you guys with more talk about pinball, because there's not really much to say more about that, but I'm still having fun there. So let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Another announcement for Nintendo's online expansion pack, I guess they're calling it. They're getting a new game in January. They're getting Banjo-Kazooie coming to the N64 library. I know Zach was a big fan of these games coming out just kind of one at a time. We have also got, it started out as a rumor, but apparently it was confirmed today with a trailer that Assassin's Creed Valhalla's next DLC is announced officially. Also, Valkyrie Entertainment has been purchased by Sony, and we got some news on the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection with an official release date. Zach, let's start with you, man. What story would you like to talk about?
Well, you know how I love the dog on Sony, apparently.
Okay.
But the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection coming January 25th, right, on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
It's another disaster.
Why is this a disaster? Because of the upgrade thing?
Well, first of all, the fact that Sony, this major corporation, is still trying to nickel and dime for upgrades is comical.
Mm-hmm.
But that, outside of that alone, it's $50 if you want to buy it. It's $10 if you want to upgrade. The PlayStation blog post doesn't tell you what if you own just one of them? What is the fee then?
That was my question, actually. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, it's not answered. And if you have it via PlayStation Plus, that doesn't count.
Right. I mean, that makes sense.
No, it does not make sense.
If you haven't paid for it. I mean, I guess you kind of paid for it with PlayStation Plus.
Exactly. You're paying in for it.
Yeah.
I understood Final Fantasy VII because that was a third-party game.
Mm-hmm.
That the PlayStation Plus thing didn't count the same. I mean, it still was lame, but whatever. But this is Sony. Like, why are they being fickle little children with their own customer base?
Because they'll pay for it.
I was about to say, because they know that you're going to sit there and be like, take my money.
Right.
I mean, Nintendo does this every other weekend, and we just kind of like we're used to it.
Has PlayStation hit Nintendo levels of fandom now? They're just impervious. They can do whatever they want.
Dude, have you read Twitter lately?
Yeah. Well, I try not to.
Yeah.
Read these avenues.
And it's not just Sony fanboys, to be clear. It's both sides, but it's just the sheer adoration and blind eye to any ill will towards your brand loyalty is just crazy to me.
Although the PlayStation fans do sound a little more insane because they'll be like, Xbox giving you, free blah, blah, blah. And PlayStation fans be like, yeah, free crap. We're like, it's free, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. PlayStation fans.
Our free crap is better than the free stuff I don't know. I'm not even making a solid argument.
I don't. At this point, I really don't feel like I have a side because Sony has been dicking me around for too long.
Yeah. I don't know. This Performance Plus mode, that is an upgrade, right? I mean, I know you're not a graphics guy. Well, here, let me break it down, because there's 3 different modes that are going to be available on this collection, which, by the way, includes Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. There's going to be a fidelity mode, which has 4K visuals and 30 frames per second. There's a performance mode that offers the 60 frames per second with not 4K visuals. And then there's a Performance Plus mode that will let you play it in 1080p with 120 frames per second. That was not in the original games, correct?
Okay, hang on.
Certainly not. But
I have to clarify something real quick, because you just rattled this off real quick, and I just read this. You have fidelity mode at 4K with 30.
Uh-huh.
You have performance mode at 60 frames per second, and Performance Plus at 1080p with 120 frames per second.
Yeah, literally what I just said.
Performance mode, but here's the thing. Regular performance mode does not say 1080p.
I know. I could not find what the resolution was for performance mode.
Are they using the PS3, PS4, which is 720p? Which, if that's the case, that is hilarious.
Wait, the PS4 was only 720?
For certain games, yes, it was.
I can't imagine that these Uncharted games were 720.
1, 2, and 3 were.
Right, but these aren't 1, 2, and 3. Those were all PlayStation 3 games. These are both PlayStation 4 games.
But the fact that you specifically put 1080p at 120 frames a second, and then when it comes to performance mode, you're like 60 frames a second, but you don't clarify like what fidelity rate you're going at.
Yeah, well, they don't clarify enough stuff at all with this announcement. But that's just Sony's purview. They can do whatever they want. We have demonstrated as a collective gamer community. We have told Sony we will pay you $70 per game. We don't need exclusives, and we don't care what you price your consoles at.
I mean, clearly, the whole scalper mentality is. I mean, people are obviously willing to pay more than retail for these consoles, but
if you're Sony reading the data, obviously people don't care about exclusives. People want to pay upgrade fees.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's weird that everybody just seems to be okay with this stuff.
You know what's interesting
in some cases
is I follow a couple handles on Twitter for like deals on video games, which I don't know why I do anymore because I'm not buying them. I have so many games right now that I haven't even cracked the seal on. But a game that I've been interested in is Returnal. That's the name of it, right? The PS5 exclusive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Now it is it's retroactively a first party exclusive.
Right. Which I've been intrigued by, but I didn't want to pay full price for it because I don't know if I'm going to like it because it's supposed to be really difficult and all that. And so I keep seeing deals on it. They're like, hey, this game is only $40 now or whatever, or $46.99. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like that much of a discount because in my mind, I'm still thinking games are $60. But I keep forgetting that was a $70 title. So there's something in my brain that just still isn't computing that games are $70 now. You know what I mean?
On certain systems.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not all games. I'm just saying we're gonna get there eventually. I mean,
right? Square Enix Final Fantasy VII Intergrade is gonna be the first $70 PC title they put out.
Wow! But again, people will pay that.
Oh yeah, of course. They'll complain about it as they click the button.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, CB, did any of these other stories interest you at all?
Well, yes and no. I mean, they're there. I kind of want to, let's talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Okay. I would figure that was going to be the one you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, but I've been so far removed from that game for a little while now.
Well, you played it all in like a weekend, so you probably forgot how to play it.
No, I'm not you.
Shot fired.
I've been actually looking to get back into it because I actually haven't touched any of the DLC for it yet.
Okay. Did you get like the season pass or?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Because I bought the collector's edition.
Gotcha.
So, man, like maybe now I can finally, because I loved the side stories for it.
Uh-huh.
Because that was one of my biggest problems with this game is it had too many narratives and just it kind of seemed all over the place because you had like 3 different narratives that weren't tied up by the end of it.
Well, yeah, that's what DLC's for, right?
Yeah, I know, but now like reading the liner notes in this, like, oh yeah, we're going to tie up this one and this one. So I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll finally get into this and play through it.
Okay.
But it's the Dawn of Ragnarok. Supposedly, they're going to be tying up like the fate of Odin, which was like my favorite part of Valhalla. Surprisingly, was the otherworld treatment that it was getting. This was originally spoiled on Reddit like a week ago. So I guess leaks are now starting to become more and more of a like, yeah, believe it. It's actually a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wonder if that's because so many people working from home?
It's a lot easier to leak it if you're not like tapped into your company's network.
Yeah.
I think there's also a bit of a mentality shift, and I guess this could be a lot of conjecture, where it's just when the pandemic hit, all these major corporations kind of showed you that you didn't matter to them or care. So I feel like it's a lot easier for people to be like, nah, F this company I'm working for.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, that's happening a lot more even outside of the games industry.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm saying all around for sure.
Yeah. I was talking to a buddy of mine who has been working for the same company for something like 20 years. And now they can't get anybody hired because nobody, employees are getting harder to come by. And they're demanding higher salaries. And so these people that have been there for forever that are seeing these people come in and fresh off the street, I mean, not off the street, but, that are new to the company, they're getting close to what they're making after being in that position for 20 years. So the mentality is like, well, why don't I just leave and start over somewhere else? There's no incentive to stay at the same company for any longer.
Yeah, nor should you.
Yeah.
Your obligation is to yourself and yours, not to some company you work for.
Mm-hmm. They're not the only ones seeing it because we're seeing it at my company too.
Yeah. I mean, people are leaving my industry too. Like they're just like, F it, I'm out. Mentality. It sucks all around.
I just hope people aren't misplacing their anger and getting mad at new hires for making money instead of being mad at the company for not having given you enough all this time.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to talk about this Valkyrie Entertainment. I just because I want to know why this is a big deal, and this is not me knocking Sony whatsoever, but they made a big proclamation that Valkyrie was acquired by Sony. When they're a co-developer, and I'm not knocking what these people do, but they're not making their own games. They're helping other developers finish their projects. Like they help games like God of War and Halo, even Halo Infinite, Valorant. They're currently helping with God of War Ragnarok. Is this a big deal, Zach?
It's probably a big deal to PlayStation, but for us, yeah, it's probably not going to matter. Hopefully this company can have the resources to make their own thing if they want, but it seems like PlayStation's locking in their stable for support studios, which is wise since so much of the industry is based on contract work and support studios now.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
I was actually going to say they're probably making a big deal about it because this was a co-developer on Halo Infinite, so you have a large Xbox co-developer that they're like, oh yeah, they're ours now. You can't have them. They're
not going to be working on anything else Halo.
But you specifically have companies now that you can shift from one project to another. Like they have nothing under their own personal purview. Mm-hmm. So you could be like, they need help with this game over here. We need you guys to all just drop what you're doing and go help them. So there's the possibility that they could be pumping out exclusives faster because you have a dedicated studio that is just literally there to support the other studios.
Okay.
Right. They're designed to be flexible.
They're your in-house guns for hire.
That's a good way to put it. Okay, that makes sense. I just didn't understand why it was a big deal, and that clears it up. So thank you for that. Well, that's pretty much it for the news. Everything was kind of overshadowed by the Game Awards this week, so we're going to go ahead and move on and remind you guys all once again that we do have a Patreon page available if you would like some extra content from the Gaming Outsider. The website is patreon.com/thegocast, and we have all kinds of bonus content. We've got legacy episodes. We've got Break the Seal episodes where we force somebody from our team to play a game they've never played before. We've got games that aren't for us. We've got... the retro outsider where CB makes us play some older games, and once in a while we find a good one. But CB, what episodes can people check out right now?
Well, we have our Legacy of Metroid, Indiana Jones, Retro Outsider, and the Super Mario Brothers movie review. Mm-hmm. And I know very soon we will be dropping our Break the Seal on Star Fox and Star Fox 64, which I enjoyed immensely.
Mm-hmm.
And our take on the couple new video game movies out, Res Evil Welcome to Raccoon City and 8-Bit Christmas.
Yep, and we're working on some stuff for December as well. It sounds like we need to do a Guardians of the Galaxy spoiler cast.
Yeah.
So we should probably do that before the month ends. And got to come up with something else, too, for December, too. But, yeah, if you'd be interested in checking those episodes out, head over to patreon.com/thegocast. And all the funds that get donated there go towards the production of this show and towards giveaways, where we purchase a game to review and then give it away to the community. And anything left over, if anything, goes back in the coffers to put towards our next R2V2. We do not take any of the funds ourselves at all, except for, playing the game that we purchase and then turn around and give away. So again, patreon.com/thegocast. Let's now jump into the games we've actually been playing. All right, Zach, list is looking a little small again. I am enjoying it. What do we got coming?
Right off the bat, we have Among Us, cultural phenomenon Among Us, leaving mobile and PC and heading to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, and Xbox One, December 14th. Colorful platformer Clockwork Aquario coming to PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch, December 14th. The long emailed to us 2D gear-gated game, Eterna Noctis, coming to PS5, PS4, Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC, December 15th. It looks very pretty, but I'm not sure what it's doing different than the 1,500 other gear-gated games.
Yeah.
Bridge Constructor, The Walking Dead, comes to PS5, December 15th for someone to play, I guess.
When are they going to make a Brandon Sanderson Bridge Constructor game? Way of Kings? Isn't that just like a perfect fit?
Oh, I guess that would be on the the plateaus or whatever.
Yeah, that's all. That's like the majority of what's his name's story is building bridges, right?
Yeah, around the Pershendi plateaus. Yeah, dude, that would be cool.
Yeah,
great call, man. Get in touch with those people.
Yeah, let's do it.
It play as a Trash Panda in Trash Quest, coming to the Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and Switch, December 16th. Apparently, this is a huge cult classic in Japan. That came to Switch, I guess, earlier, but Moon is coming to PS5 and PS4 December 16th. It calls itself an anti-RPG, or whatever that. I believe it is a game about pacifism, which was probably quite revolutionary 20 years ago, but now RPGs about pacifism are quite common, especially on the indie scene. Blackbird comes to PS5 and PS4 December 16th. Perhaps the most misguided video game I've ever heard of, Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo, coming to PC December 16th. I don't know why you would do that. Vertigo feels like, we always talk about games, that are like, it tells a story in a way that only a game could. Vertigo feels like a story told in a way only a movie can.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bizarre choice. But I hope it's great. Alien Isolation gets downgraded and ported to iOS and Android December 16th. I assume CB is going to avoid that with a 90-foot pole. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, coming to PC December 16th. As I said before, that'll be Square Enix's first $70 PC game. And then Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach takes you out of the control room and lets you explore the Chuck E. Cheese setting. Yeah, the restaurant. Thank you. That's the word I couldn't find. Coming to PS4 and PS5, PS4 and PC December 16th. And an Xbox exclusive exploration platformer, The Gunk, coming to Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC December 16th.
That was shown at the Xbox Showcase at E3, if I remember correctly.
I believe that is true.
Yeah.
It's a fun look, but as you said, this is the time for catch-up.
Yeah, pretty much. Although a Turn of Noctis does intrigue me. It does look stunning, but again, sometimes I start losing interest in the games when I get an email about a game every other day.
Yeah, they're really going heavy on the marketing with the Turn of Noctis.
Yeah.
To press, which I know is what a first world problem, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's definitely frustrating. And just not for nothing, it's hard. It's really hard to get excited for a 2D indie gear-gated platformer. Like, that is the game they make the most in the indie scene.
Right.
But it's hard for me to get excited about one.
Unless it's Athlon, then you can be all the excited that you want to.
I mean, come on, guys. We have Among Us, finally.
Which, by the way, to be clear, is not leaving mobile and PC, right?
No.
Just the way you worded it made it sound like it was no longer going to be available on those platforms and was not going to be on console.
That would be fun. Wouldn't that be? It would be a real Nintendo move right there.
Yeah, right? Could you imagine? But yeah, the one that interests me the most here is the Turn of Noctis, just because I like that genre, but it's more of a lack of options at this point. Although I do want to play Among Us with the controller instead of on my phone, because that is not a fun experience.
I will say I'm curious to see how hard the downgrade is going to be on Alien Isolation.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be.
And how much that's going to cost.
$10, I'm guessing.
I could have sworn it was being adapted for an episodic model, but I could be mistaken. Or those plans could have changed.
It's funny because AJ actually just started playing Alien Isolation.
Oh yeah?
That game terrifies him.
It terrified me. It's a very uncomfortable game.
It's a good one.
Well, moving on, let's talk about the game that all three of us played, which is Halo Infinite. I think we're all playing it on Xbox Game Pass because, we're all obviously members of Xbox Game Pass. Who wants to start? Because I know you guys have gotten a lot farther than I have, so I did not get to play as much as you guys. CB likes it.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It feels good to be the chief again.
Yeah, which is a funny thing to say because 2015 wasn't that long ago, but I also didn't really feel like the chief in the other 343 Industries games.
No.
I haven't felt like the chief since 2007.
Since 2000, since Halo 3, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, like you feel like the good old chief, and it feels glorious.
It feels like the writers of the original trilogy knocked on the door and said, "What have you been doing?"
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Are you talking about gameplay or are you talking about story-wise?
We're talking about the story so far. We're talking about Master Chief so far, right, CB?
Yeah.
Mostly. It's just because he's such an iconic character, Scott. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he was so mishandled in Halo 4 and 5, especially he was very chatty, which was weird. In this one, he is just a one-liner machine. I'd be surprised if any of his sentences so far have been longer than 10 words.
Even just when he says the word no. Like, is everything okay? No.
Or early in the game, right, you get woken up out of cryosleep, which I think is a Halo requisite. And he just says, I need a weapon. I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
He says that every time he gets out.
Status report. Yeah, I need a weapon.
Oh, man. It's good stuff. And then, I'm just like, it'll be enough. He's just so cool.
Yeah. Could you imagine him being voiced by anybody but Steve Downs?
No, you have to retire the character.
Which I know we're going to talk about it later, but what are they going to do with the TV series? Like, you got to have Steve Downs, right?
I mean, that would be cool. The show certainly looks the part.
Yeah.
But anyway, the gameplay, right? At some point, we should probably discuss.
And I'm going to preface this by saying I am still out in space. I have not gotten to the Halo ring yet, which Zach has told me that he thinks I'm going to really like once you get there. I'm assuming because it's got some Far Cry vibes to it. But
right. I guess, should we set the narrative scene a little bit? I guess?
Okay, go for it.
I guess most people probably know, right? It's just the Infinity gets blown up in the out orbit of a Halo ring, which you go to in most Halo games. And it's so far the story is pretty straightforward. You have to deal with some Cortana business up front, which I think is cool, and I think they make a few very interesting narrative decisions there that I was certainly surprised with. But basically, it all leads to you getting a new AI called the Weapon, who is like a childlike AI. She doesn't really have the military expertise that a traditional UNSC AI construct would have.
She's kind of spunky.
She's definitely spunky.
Super naive.
Very naive. It feels a little like they're injecting some Last of Us into Halo by making Chief a dad. But it's an interesting, like where I just got, they had a conversation on fear, which I thought was really interesting. Because she's like, "Are you afraid when you go to battle?" And he's like, "No." He's like, but then he actually engages. He's like, "But are you?" I was like, "Whoa, Chief, little humanity all of a sudden." It's good stuff. And then they talk. And it's very charming. Their relationship is great, even though she's playing a different character. Just doing all of the open world shenanigans with Jen Taylor in her ear is pretty magical, man.
I got a question because you're gonna have to refresh me the name of the main antagonists. What's that race?
Oh, the Brutes.
Yeah, but they have like
the Banished.
The Banished. Thank you.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. These guys were only mentioned in Halo Wars, right?
2.
Halo Wars 2. So, like, if you've never played Halo Wars 2, these are going to... I felt kind of just, like, dropped out of left field here with like, who are these guys? But before I played the game, I went back and watched, like, a retrospective, just because it's been so long since I played Halo 5 or any of the older Halo games, so I kind of wanted at least a little bit of a refresher. I did not remember that this narrative was so dense. This universe is so dense. There's so much lore going on in the Halo universe.
And part of the problem with this 343 Industries era is that they seem to assume that you've read all the books and comics, right?
Right.
Like, outside when Bungie was doing it, outside of one line about it was the coin's fault, they never really directly pointed at the books or comics and said, "Hi, you have to know this." But like Halo 4 had this big villain reveal, and if you just play the game, you're like, "What?" But it's this villain who's been built up in these novels, and he seems to have a rapport with Chief and Cortana already. You're like, "What is happening?" And I just, luckily, the Banished is not a hard concept to grasp. It just feels like ex-Covenants who are playing by their own rules, basically. So it's not that hard. But you're right. In like this villain Atriox, it seems like they expect you to know who he is.
Yeah. It just kind of, I mean, I knew who he was because, like I said, I went back and watched the retrospective video just to get re-caught up. But I was like, wow, these guys are from Halo Wars 2, which is a game I've never played. And if you like Halo, you don't necessarily like RTS games. So that just seemed like a weird disconnect. But
Halo Wars 2 also came out when nobody cared about Xbox.
That's a good point, too. I want to talk a little bit about the gameplay, too. I know the biggest new addition they've got is that grappling hook, which is super fun to use. I don't know what magic they did to make that thing feel so awesome, but the fact that you can like kind of change direction in midair once you grapple onto something is pretty awesome. I
think, guys, I'm going to institute a rule for 2022. We can no longer mention grappling hooks being fun.
Why?
Every game has a grappling hook now. It would be like mentioning the sprint functionality of a game at this point. It's in every shooter.
No, but this one feels different because it's not like it's not one where like you hook to something and then swing across. It's like you hook to something and then it thrusts you forward. But as it's thrusting you forward, you're able to kind of shift the direction a little bit, which feels different than most grappling hook mechanics.
It feels a little like Titanfalls.
Does it? Okay.
I like the grappling hook because the sprint is terrible.
What do you mean the sprint's terrible?
The sprint to me feels slow.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
I feel no way about the sprint.
I think the shooting feels more solid than I've played in a Halo game in a long time. Like I feel like the enemies aren't quite as bullet spongy, and I played on normal difficulty. I don't even remember if I had the option to switch it or if there is one. I didn't.
If you were a real Halo player, you'd play on heroic.
No, I'm not a real Halo player. I will fully admit that.
I was just kidding. I like that they finally got rid of, because the wording was always the way Halo was meant to be played over heroic. So I feel guilted into playing it, but it does not say that anymore, which is nice. Although I still had to play on heroic because I've gotten this far.
I noticed that the grunts sounds slightly different. It's almost like they're not quite as high pitch and they're a little bit easier to understand. Did you guys notice that? Or am I just being weird?
I think you're just being a little weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounded like they sounded so Alvin and the Chipmunky back in the old games.
But you could understand full conversations they were having in the old Halo, like you were sneaking around and stuff.
You could, but I don't know. I like the voices a lot better in this one for some reason. But
I'm a sucker for a grunt. My banner in every Halo game has always been the grunt.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that they've never changed them. Like, you can still just sit there and find them sleeping, slacking off.
They're always sleeping. Yeah, they're great. But I just love how afraid of you they are.
Mm-hmm. But then they trash talk you too.
It's the demon.
I mean, you're seriously like 4 times as tall as they are, right?
Yeah, you're just like 6 tons or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're what, like 8.5 feet tall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what I've got coming up, because I have not gotten down to the Halo ring yet. How is Halo in terms of open world?
Far Cry.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's towers. Go capture the towers.
Opens
it unlocks things on the map. Go find those. Kill everything.
But the size of it is more like a Shadow of Mordor or Arkham City.
Okay. I'm liking that.
It's not this huge, sprawling, overwhelming map, which is exciting, because I don't know if you read any of that Bloomberg article about the making of Halo Infinite, but the map was originally like 2/3 bigger, which I think would have been a disaster.
They tightened it up a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and CB, you're the open world expert, so I want to let you take it away here.
The verticality is great, because though it doesn't seem very wide and huge, it feels very tall.
Okay.
Like, there's areas where you will actually have to like navigate around to go up. You get a great view on things.
And Master Chief has no fall damage, which is always nice in open world games with verticality.
Yeah.
Which, it was scary the first time I took a huge plunge. Because I know they got rid of fall damage, as of Halo 2 or whatever, but it was just, you could just drop such comical lengths and be okay.
It's real fun when you drop on a grunt. Like, you jump off, use the grappling hook to like accelerate yourself to the ground, and then just, you get that timing right with the melee, and just launch a grunt across the map.
Do you have the shockwave grappling hook upgrade?
Not yet.
Oh man, you can grapple in enemies. You hold down the melee button, and Chief like suspends in air and just like loads up a super punch basically, and grunts just go flying.
Oh,
it's amazing.
So, man, the first time I came across a Scorpion tank, by the way,
yeah,
dude, you just go to town.
It feels good.
It feels so good. But so as you're going around the open world, though, you can find pockets of abandoned UNSC troops and start like rebuilding your own little army.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because in the context of the game, this Chief's been out for 6 months, and basically the Marines and the Banished are having an elongated war on the Halo ring, and the Marines are obviously losing,
horrendously losing,
until the Chief shows up.
Yeah, I mean the fact that in the beginning they like openly say Atriox openly says like not Atriox, but the other guy openly calls him this like humanity's savior.
Mm-hmm.
And you really feel that part in this game. Finding the upgrades to the Mjolnir suit also feels really fun.
Yeah, the upgrades are fun so far, which and don't run into the narrative issue. Remember when they put out the trailer for the campaign? I was quite nervous because I was like, hey, look, he's been at this for 20 years of war. He knows what he's doing. But the upgrades are like all equipment focused. So it's increasing the grappling hook, which is new to the set of armor, or you get a threat tracker, thing. There are upgrades there. So it's not, you're not upgrading Master Chief himself, which is, you've avoided the narrative thing that annoys me about skill trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which feels interesting because if you know the lore, like Master Chief is an outdated model of Spartan.
Yeah, he was a 3, right?
Yeah, he's a Gen 3.
Spartan 2.
He's a 2?
Spartan 2s.
Threes is when they stopped. Using
kidnapping
kids.
Children.
Yeah. But isn't he like the end of the 2?
Yes.
So like he was like right on the cusp of the 3s.
Right.
Also, I learned in my retrospective rewatching, I learned that Master Chief has red hair. I did not know that.
I did know that.
I had no clue. We have yet to see it, right?
No, nor should you. You should never see it.
I agree. Boy, I just can't get over how good the gunplay feels, and I still haven't even hit the areas that I feel like I'm going to like more. But one of my frustrations with earlier Halo games, specifically 4, was it just, I felt like I was just constantly unloading, and I feel like shots matter a lot more this time. I don't know, and the enemies react more.
Shot placement matters a lot too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, headshots are a big deal. I don't remember if they were. It's been so long since I played a Halo game, but I find myself, looking for vital areas and again to stagger. They never staggered. They would just like run around, take hits, and then eventually die. And then you were good. But I don't know. Now it feels like they're taking damage along the way, which makes it feel like you're doing damage instead of just unloading on them.
And to CB's earlier point about how you're building up an army, you're taking over these FOBs, forward operating bases, right? Which are a little bit like your towers. But every time you do, you get more Valor points, which lets you basically order in bigger and badder weapons, right? So you can only get a pistol at first and an ATV. But I'm at the point where I can order in a energy sword and a shotgun and get a warthog, and I can, take some Marines with me from the base and just go take over a fortress or whatever. It's pretty fun. A lot of variety. And because it's all wrapped in that Halo combat loop, which actually feels like a Halo combat loop again, finally, It all just feels phenomenal. It really feels like, in the first Halo when you got on the ring, and I don't know if this is maybe asking your memory too much, but you would have to go to these 3 different spots to rescue Marines, right, when you got on the Halo ring. But you could take the Warthog around and take them and party them around, but it feels like that made into a whole game. And it feels absolutely amazing. And sorry, I'll just feel like I'm ranting, but the direction that you're taking over the FOBs, like the way they're checkered on the map, it's like you're basically connecting the dots to the next objective.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very, very well designed for open world.
Yes, and I think it's the size's benefit is why that is. Because it is a smaller map.
I am looking forward to jumping back into that.
Dude, it's amazing. I only found out, I think last night, maybe the day before, that you can grapple hook weapons.
Yeah.
So I had this boss fight because they're high value targets, Scott. These little side mission boss fights, and every time you beat them, you get a specific cool weapon. But I was in this boss fight, and I was getting destroyed by this guy. But then I missed the grappling hook because I was going to try to melee him. And I picked up a freaking gravity hammer and just destroyed him, and it felt amazing. There's just so much sandbox opportunities in every firefight. Just, it's good stuff.
And we forgot about my newest favorite thing, the coils.
Oh, they can pick up basically explosive barrels and just chuck them at people.
Just Donkey Konging around.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
And they're readily available, at least in the areas I've been to.
Oh, wait till you get on the ring. They are everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost don't even need a gun.
I was gonna say, there's just so much creativity. You could do that, or you could try to find a way to squeeze a tank into an area where it's not supposed to be. Like, there's just, it's that almost that Breath of the Wild effect of if you can think it within the rule set of the game, you can do it, which feels pretty great.
So we're going to see all sorts of videos of ridiculous stuff that people have been able to figure out in Halo Infinite eventually.
There already are.
Yeah.
It made me feel like a kid when I would take the Warthog from the open areas and squeeze them into the linear levels, and you'd force them through doorways with grenades and stuff. Back when, because the Warthogs couldn't explode in the first game.
Man,
it took me right back to that, which is amazing, and it feels nice to be excited about Halo again, because up until Halo 3, I was reading all the books and the comics and everything, and I really believed in this universe, and then when Bungie left, it just kind of slowly fell apart, and then by the time Halo 4 came out, it was hard for me to even care anymore. So this is just very exciting.
Very cool.
That opening cinematic, by the way, is great too.
Well, when he wipes off the windshield? You talking about?
Well, even with Atriox, it's like the last face you'll ever see.
Oh, that one, yeah. Good stuff. Halo Infinite.
So anyway, play Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
My lord. This is a absolutely tremendous game. I never thought I would be this excited about Halo. And shout out to Microsoft for waiting 1 year until the Series X is out to finally put out an Xbox One game people care about.
There you go. And the fact that it's on Game Pass.
I'm playing it on base Xbox One and I'm not having any hitches or anything. Like they really obviously cared about every version of the game, which, praise be to Microsoft because we're not seeing a lot of that lately.
Nope.
And it does look gorgeous.
Even on a base Xbox One, it looks tremendous. I can only imagine what it looks like in the Series X.
Beautiful. Yeah. Just that's almost just the way his armor looks.
Yeah, it looks just very weathered. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. You can really see the war.
4K is beautiful.
Yeah, good stuff. Halo Infinite, play it. Not like it's really hard to talk people into playing it, right?
Well, I don't know. After Halo 4 and 5, I wasn't exactly excited, pumped for Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Halo 5 sucked.
I liked Halo 5.
Halo 5 sucked.
But I also played it co-op, which is something I wish I could do in this game.
Yeah, right I guess, if you care about co-op or Forge mode or anything, it's definitely not content complete. It's kind of feels like a free-to-play game in that way. And I'm really curious if the ending of the campaign will be some sort of, well, where to next, Chief? So that way they can kind of keep bolting onto it like a free-to-play game.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be cool. I would pay for that model, but whatever. My only worry is I don't care about Atriox as a villain, and I kind of don't. The plot is incredibly basic. It is just fight back against the bad guys in this ring.
Yeah, but doesn't it kind of feel like a reboot at that point? Like a reinvigoration of the series?
Especially with the new AI. It is definitely a soft reboot of some kind.
Yeah. Without starting over from scratch and telling the first Halo all over again. They're basically reinvigorating everything here.
Yeah, it's just very simple.
Yeah.
Which is okay. Let's make some more games with low stakes. But anyway, Scott, when you weren't playing Halo, which you should have played way more of.
Yeah. Probably should have.
The fact that you weren't here to talk to CB about your open world love is madness. But you were playing another love of yours, Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon.
I was playing Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. You guys are familiar with Yacht Club games, obviously. Shovel Knight is one of my favorite indie franchises. Well, they made a puzzle game based in the universe. And you guys ever played Wario's Woods?
Yep.
Sure have.
This game reminds me a lot of Wario's Woods. It still has its own flavor, as it were, but this is very much a puzzle game in the vein of that, and they've done some interesting things with it. And I am terrible at this game. I'll tell you straight up.
Does it explain why it calls itself Pocket Dungeon, despite not being available on any console that fits in your pocket?
No, I have not been able to figure that out. Honestly, when this thing was announced months ago, I assumed it was a mobile game.
Yes,
it's called
the name implies
Pocket
that.
Dungeon. So
yes,
the way this game works is it's a grid-based puzzle game where enemies and potions and piles of dirt and rocks and stuff are just kind of very slowly falling from the top of the screen, and as you're basically trying to clear enemies by grouping them together like you do in a puzzle game. So the more you get together and then you destroy them, they obviously get a chain. But the way the little twist on this is that you have hit points and the enemies have hit points, and the only way that you take damage is when you actually attack the enemies. They also attack you back. So it becomes a management system of finding the right times to attack and also sneak in a potion that are also littered on the screen as well to keep your health up, which is an interesting way to do a puzzle game because it's your character actually has hit points.
Right. So you want to play Puzzle Fighter?
I've not played Puzzle Fighter. That's a Street Fighter one, right?
Yeah, that's more Tetris, but it's all about knocking out HP and stuff.
I mean, this one works more like Tetris than Wario's Woods does. But it's just you have the ability to move your character around the screen.
Okay.
Now the trick is anytime you make a movement, like a grid-based movement on the map or a screen, whatever you want to call it, a playing field, everything else also shifts. So like I said, the pieces are falling down slowly, but when you make a move, they shift one more at the same time you do. So you can't get ahead of anything. So any movement you make is also accelerating the pieces falling down, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, you just have to survive a map until you get, you can unlock 3 chests. A chest will appear. You have to wait for the key to appear, and then you have to get the key and then take it to the chest. You do that 3 times, and then the 4th time it opens up a door that basically finishes the level. So you just kind of have to manage, stacking the enemies, the like enemies, so that you can form these chains. And but at the same time, it's also almost a roguelike, because you go through until you die, and then you start back over and you cash in the coins that you've collected or the treasures that you've collected to purchase relics that are permanent upgrades that do things that make your run that much easier. So there's a bit of a progression here as well. So I do like that if you die, you don't have to start all over again. You can just do a quick restart of that level, because if you do go back to the main hub, you have to start back at the very first level and go through those levels again to get to where you left off. But I like that you have the ability to do it again. If you just had like just a really bad run that you didn't do well, but you could have beat, you can do it. But if you go back to the beginning to cash in your gold or treasures to purchase these upgrades, you have to start back over again, which is interesting. So it's a push and pull, But
okay, yeah.
So obviously this is not Shovel Knight. It's not a platformer. I'm not going around fighting bosses, although there are bosses in the game, but it's not... don't pick this up if you're thinking it's going to be a traditional Shovel Knight game. It is clearly a puzzle game.
I think the name kind of tells you it's not.
Right. I think what they've built here is a very solid puzzle game, and it's got a lot of fresh ideas, especially kind of incorporating the roguelike mentality. I am awful at this game. I just feel like I can never get a rhythm. Like when you play a Tetris game and you just kind of are able to keep it managed at the beginning of like, okay, I'm going to, get a Tetris and clear most of the board and then start over again. I feel like I'm never caught up, and I don't know if that's me playing poorly and not understanding the tricks of the trade with this game, or if that's just the way the game works. I can never get into a pattern. I feel like with Tetris, you get into a pattern of recognizing things and knowing where to put things down, and this is pure reactionary. I feel like the management is almost too chaotic for me, where you don't have like a real easy ramp up that like lets you keep things managed. I'm never going to be able to keep it managed, but that is a personal thing. I think the game is solid, and I have enjoyed what I played so far, but it's not my favorite puzzle game. So I think like I said, I don't know how to say that. Like it's a great game. I just don't. It doesn't click with me as much as I think it will others. So even though I wasn't a big fan of it, I still think that people should check it out, especially if you like Wario's Woods, which admittedly I wasn't a big fan of for the same reasons. That it was a weird chaos that I could not manage.
It's a weird game to model yourself after, anyway.
That game is weirdly popular, though. It's almost like a cult classic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember a buddy of mine in college playing it on emulation, and like every day I got home from class, he was playing that game. Just constantly playing that game. I did not understand it. And I tried to watch him play it. I could not wrap my head around what he was doing. I feel like I need to revisit that and see what the game is about. But anyway, Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. It's worth a look. That's what I'll say about that. Zach, I know you got a chance to get your hands on the Matrix Awakens and Unreal Engine experience. Actually, CB, I didn't even ask you. Did you play this as well, too?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Because I was excited to ask Zach if he dove down the rabbit hole.
Oh, there it is.
I did. I followed. I was shown the door, and it was up to me to walk through it.
Very nice.
Did you take the red pill or the blue pill?
Well, if
both same time.
If I'm talking to you, there's only one pill I took.
There you go.
I'm a big Matrix guy. Love it to death. One of the greatest film trilogies of all time. I love all 3 of those darn movies. So this is moderately exciting on the Game Awards stage, although I take major issue that it was the last thing they showed. However, it's fine. It's a commercial, right? It's an Unreal Engine commercial. I played it on PS5 via some streaming technology, thanks to the kindness of Scott Clark over there.
Mm-hmm. It's just weird, by the way. I sat and watched him play it on my PS5.
Yeah, the remote play is cool, and it is also really funny that the 2 times I felt like I needed to play a PS5 was for demos.
Yeah.
So I guess that tells you my interest in next-gen games so far. But yeah, you open up, it's Neo talking to you, and then he acknowledges that he's Keanu Reeves. It's all very meta. Then Carrie-Anne Mouse comes in, and they're all rendered in Unreal Engine technology. Unreal Engine 5, right? They look, of course, great. Why wouldn't they? It's a very, narrow focus tech demo. And then it cuts away to a car chase where you're ostensibly aiming, but you can also just keep pressing R2 and the game will aim for you.
Yeah. It's just like you basically switch between which tires to shoot out is really the only control you have.
Right. And even if you don't do that, the tires will pop eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
cute.
Yeah, calling it playable at that stage is it is what it is, I guess. It's basically just trying to replicate the highway scene from Matrix Reloaded because that was pretty cool. It was mostly just fun hearing Neo and Trinity's acknowledgement that they were in a tech demo, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the highlight, where especially when Neo was like, agents are dangerous, but never talk to marketing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But when the part he's talking about is because the demo starts out with the actual actors, right?
Right.
At first, it's the actual actors, like they were filmed, and then it just kind of when they go into what do they call the construct, the
white room.
Yeah. And then they start like duplicating, and you start realizing that these are all CGI, characters now instead. And when they get in the car, you can tell it's different, but it's pretty dang close, man.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a absolutely technological showcase.
Mm-hmm.
I just like that this is very non-canon, right? I guess I thought it was going to start off with like a little bit of like, here's a little nugget of the Matrix.
Nope, not at all.
And that's fine because it's just exciting to see those people dressed up in leather with sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it made me very giddy as somebody who's watched those movies 1,000 times. But then after you get out of the shootout and you're just playing this random woman who's in the backseat with them, who there's plenty of fun dialogue, but after that they just basically give you a commercial about how cool Unreal Engine 5 is, and then you're like let loose in this open world, which is interesting at first. Then you realize it's just another way to show. It's just another commercial, right?
Yeah, there's nothing to do. I mean, there are these waypoints that you can go find these little things to read, but it's more or less where you can change the time so you can see what it looks like when the sun is in a different spot in the sky.
Right, because it's showing off the real-time rendering,
mm-hmm.
and you can change the density of traffic and parked cars.
So I take it the open world section is in the Matrix?
Yes. It's got that Matrix filter, which you can, by the way, turn off. I don't know if you tried that, Zach.
No, why would I do such a thing?
Because, the Matrix, when I say Matrix filter, you know what I mean? Where it's kind of that like green tinge to it.
Right. The Matrix has you.
Yeah.
And you said it's open world. So how, like, is it a little free roaming or?
That's all it is free roaming. You just walk around and fly around this giant city.
I was about to say, how big is this area?
It's pretty massive.
It's hard to gauge because you do hit the invisible wall. I actually tried to go into the water and I couldn't go any further. Once you get into the water, you hit an invisible wall eventually.
I'm willing
you
to
were
bet
swimming?
there's some.
No. Like you just stand on the water, but you can't actually go into the water.
I'm willing to bet there's some Easter eggs hidden in there.
That's what I thought, but dude, you don't want to like just scour this place, man. It is.
I honestly don't know if there really is, because it's just not that.
Just for the woman in the red dress.
That would be fun, but I think it really is. It's a commercial first. It's a commercial through a Matrix lens.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But I was most disappointed because I saw the button that said fly, and I thought I was going to let you fly like Neo, but no, you just turn into a camera, and you can't get on top of buildings or anything, which also sucks.
Yeah, I tried to like walk on top of a building so I could walk in the building, and nope, you just gotta fly. But the thing that impressed me, CB, was these buildings are legit skyscrapers. You were talking about the verticality in Halo Infinite, right? There's just as much up as there is across in this demo. So I was like flying across all these skyscrapers, just looking in the windows, and they've got like procedurally generated rooms in every single window. Now they look a little fuzzy because they're not like, actually part of the environment, but they weren't like carbon copies of one another. They were all like in, separately placed. I was just like looking through the windows and I thought it was really cool. So
okay,
it's more about the possibilities, and seriously, it's free. You should check it out and just mess around and look and see how impressive it is.
I will. I most definitely will.
But yeah, don't expect a game. It's hard to even call that opening sequence a game, which is the most gamey thing it does. But
yeah, I mean, if you're a huge Matrix diehard, like I consider myself to be, it is worth it almost just to see Neo and Trinity in an in-game engine, right? Because it was the last game was like 2005,
right?
Which is foolish because Matrix is ripe for potential for video games.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay,
it'll mostly just make you sad that there hasn't been a Matrix game.
So, I just while you guys were talking about it, I was like, "There's got to be Easter eggs." I googled it. There is.
Okay.
Hidden in the city, there are Easter eggs, and people are starting to find them.
Well,
apparently, one is you will fly by a window, and when you glance in the window, there is a TV sitting in the room playing the kung fu scene between Morpheus and Neo.
I know Kung Fu. Show me.
Oh, I love that scene so much. I've probably seen that whole section so many times. The Matrix
is in a rare class of movie along with the first Star Wars where almost every line is quotable.
You think that's air you're breathing?
Oh my god. See, it's so good. Do you think my being fast or strong has anything to do with me defeating you in here? I
think I've seen that movie possibly more times than I've seen Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, for me, definitely.
It's close.
I have an utter love and adoration for the first one.
Yeah.
The second and third one, they're fun watches, but the first one is on a whole nother level.
I love all three of them almost equally, but the first movie is just iconic.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
But I really like. There's plenty of like Matrix Reloaded when they're fighting the agents in the first scene. He just goes, upgrades. Still a lot of good lines.
More.
The scene with the architect and Neo is one of my favorite scenes in any movie ever.
I still feel like I don't understand what is going on in that scene, but it's cool to look at.
It's deep. It's real deep.
Basically just letting you know that the one has to sacrifice himself to reboot humanity. Only Neo doesn't.
Yeah.
He chooses love. Which seems to be all what the fourth movie's about, which is awesome. Action love stories, give me those, 10 times a year. I would love it.
I can't wait to see that. I'm very, very stoked. All right, moving on. I have another review to chat with you guys, or share with you guys. I sat down to chat with Sean Coates, who played Jurassic World Evolution 2. So let's hear his thoughts right now. Sean Coates, how you doing, man?
Good, Scott. A little busy with work, but otherwise I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. You must be busy. You deliver packages, so tis the season, right?
Yes, I am the worker elf, Amazon worker elf that delivers your package to your front door while Santa's busy going to space.
Nicely done. Well, you're here to talk to us about a game that you reviewed for the site, Jurassic World Evolution 2, which is a series that I've not dived in. I have not jumped into, so I'm very unfamiliar with this property. It's a park management system. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. Made by Frontier Developments, the same folks behind the Roller Coaster Tycoon franchise. So park management's their bread and butter.
Seems like it, and this is a great property to do park management. Although, after the movies, I actually watched the Jurassic World film today by random coincidence.
Oh.
I'm still baffled that they would still make a park after everything that happened before, and they want to keep making movies to make money. So
exactly.
Now, I haven't played the first one. Did you play the first one?
Yeah, and I love the crap out of it. And this one improves in every way you would expect a sequel to improve upon.
Okay, so give me some quality of life stuff here. What makes this so good, coming from someone that's never played them before?
Well, things like, you got to build an enclosure for your dinosaurs, and then you have to, depending on what kind of breed they are, if they're carnivores or herbivores. In the first game, if they were carnivores, of course, you would leave a thing of a carcass plate for them, I guess you can call it, or you can
like a goat.
Yeah, or you can dispense a live goat. Some of the carnivores prefer hunting. Some of them prefer just having their meal hot and ready. And every time
Little Caesars.
Every time they'd run out, you would have to manually tell your park ranger to dispatch them to go to that enclosure to refill it. This time around, you can set up a ranger outpost in the enclosure so that they will constantly patrol for you and replenish anything, so you don't have to micromanage that aspect of it.
Nice. You can kind of set it and forget it.
Yeah, especially if you have 40 enclosures that all need feeding refills.
Gotcha. One of the things that stood out to me when we first had this reveal, I believe it was at E3, if I remember correctly, when Jeff Goldblum did the whole announcement with his velvety voice.
Yeah, and his velvety voice is here in the game.
Now that's a selling point alone right there. Mm-hmm. Is it constant, or is it just like during an opening cutscene, or?
Mostly through opening cutscenes. There's a new game mode called Chaos Theory. In lieu of having a traditional campaign, which it kind of does, but it's actually the shortest part of the game, kind of bridges the gap between Fallen Kingdom, the last one, and it bridges the one that's upcoming next summer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but it's it's only like a 4-hour campaign tops. But this Chaos Theory mode, each mission is introduced by Jeff Goldblum, and they serve as what-if retellings of each of the 5 movies.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
That's where the main bulk of this game comes from. So with something like, let's say the first one, you're tasked with actually trying to open the original Jurassic Park without Wayne Knight sabotaging it.
Oh, so it actually becomes successful and nothing bad happens.
Exactly, yeah. Things only happen badly if it's up to you, or if you mess up somewhere.
So is Isla Nublar, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is it like to scale, or is it the same map as the film, or whatever the original
kind of
were?
All the buildings are straight out of the films, but oddly enough, the map for the 1993 Isla Nublar versus the 16 Jurassic World map is completely different, even though it's the same island. That's
weird.
Yeah, but
just kind of retconned it, huh?
Yeah, retconned the topography and geography of it all. Yeah, but it's still a tropical island. And speaking of geography, this game also gets out of the tropical setting alone and then goes to have different biomes like desert and alpine, because I don't want to spoil Fallen Kingdom, but dinosaurs are here in the world now.
Right.
So
I got to rewatch that one next too. So what platform did you play this on?
Xbox, as always.
Okay, so I've never played. I don't know if I would call this an RTS, but it's close. Mm-hmm. Those games are, or even sims, this kind of sim in general, I just assume would be better to be played with a mouse and keyboard, but that option is not available with Xbox. How does it translate to a controller?
Great, actually. I remember I mentioned this with my Colonists review, where it was also another RTS game. It was the seamless transition from mouse and keyboard to controller. You have a lot of quick access buttons to menu, so you don't have to keep menu diving every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just works all around. I don't know how else to explain it, because it felt so natural. I didn't really need a tutorial on how to control it with the controller, because everything was right there and quick.
Now, is that because you played the first one, or does it just feel natural anyway?
I think it feels natural. Playing the first one and kind of helps, but if you've ever played any game like this on an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller, there's just a language that all those games follow, kind of like a first-person shooter. Every game has the same layout. Like there's just like a standard you must meet.
Okay, last question I'll ask you is: do you recommend going back and playing the first one, or can I jump right into 2?
You can actually jump right into 2.
Okay, so there's no story continuity or anything like that?
No, like I said, because the campaign itself only follows the events after Fallen Kingdom.
Okay, sounds good. It sounds like you highly recommend this one for everyone to check out.
I do, especially if you either love the Jurassic Park franchise or played the first one, or if you still have some kind of a deep old childhood love for dinosaurs.
Oh, isn't this on Game Pass as well?
No, the first one is. If you're ever curious, you can always play the first one on Game Pass.
All right, so check it out on Game Pass, and if you love it, hop over and pick up the second one, because it sounds like it's superior in a lot of ways, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool, Sean. Well, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. And as always, it's a pleasure to talk with you, man.
Always. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Not a problem, dude. We'll catch you later.
Later.
All right, Sean, thank you so much for that. And moving on, let's go ahead and thank our new Facebook members. We had quite a few new Facebook members. Apparently, CJ Moore invited half of the state of Arizona to join our Facebook group, and I appreciate that. Let's see, we've got here Alejandra Reese, Warren Cruz, Sean Fastj, William Fastj, Casey Moore, Conrad Moore, Nicholas Vilches, Carlos Ruiz, Michael Robinson, Josh Powell, Ben Graziano, and Derek Moore. Welcome to the Facebook community. Hope you guys are enjoying it. We got a lot of good things going on over there. Also, our Discord community is live and thriving. The link is in the show notes if you'd like to join our community over there. Also, if you get a chance, drop us a review wherever you listen to the podcast, whether that be Apple Podcasts, whether that be Google Play Music, whether that be Stitcher, or just drop us a review. It lets us know how we're doing and also helps get the word out there. Also, lastly, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. If you head over there, you'll find links to all of our episodes as well as all of our written content, which includes Sean's written review of Jurassic World Evolution and also Kevin's review of Unsold, which is available on there as well. Before we move on to our topic of the week, I want to very quickly remind everybody that the show is sponsored by Manscaped, which I know sounds like we're selling out a little bit, but this being our first sponsorship, I am shocked by how high quality these products are. CB, haven't talked to you about this in a little while. Are you still digging these products?
Yeah. I still use some of them on a regular, like a daily basis.
Yeah, same here.
The deodorant, the toner, the body wash, conditioner, shampoo and conditioner. I absolutely love it. I actually need to buy more.
Mm-hmm.
My wife absolutely loves them.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, she likes the smell a lot.
Yeah, so, I know what you're talking about.
And then both the lawnmower and the weed whacker both work very, very well. In fact, both were used earlier today.
Very good.
So I absolutely love this product to the fact that I recommend it to people like on the street.
Yeah. I do as well. I just like, you guys got to check this out. I mean,
you just whip everything out. You show them a demonstration.
No, I don't show them a demonstration. It is one of the weird things. I've got mine, sitting. Like I show it to people, and it's a weird thing to show people because they know where it's been. But that's okay because it's doing the trick. And I feel like we say this most weeks when we're talking about it. But the trimmers again have yet to have any tugging or pulling when I'm using it.
Right. Yeah, which is almost unreal, especially since it's in such a sensitive area.
Mm-hmm.
The fact it gets all your nooks and crannies without yanking anything is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's really great.
I'm actually fairly impressed by the blades because I've had trimmers before and they go dull fairly quickly.
Right.
Especially with certain types of body hair.
Yeah.
Which is thicker than head hair. So
Sure. Well, especially when we don't have any.
Shut up.
You gave me a softball over the plate on that one.
It's there. It's there. It's there. Did. Not a lot, but
and I like the underwear so much I went and bought another pack. These are my daily underwear. These are the most comfortable underwear I've ever worn in my entire life.
Very good underwear.
Yeah. I was shocked. I'm almost to the point where I want to get another set so I can just make them every single day because I've only got 4 pair right now. And,
only 4 pair?
Well, yeah, if you change, there's 7 days in a week. I don't know if you know this, and if you do
I
longer,
I understand how underwear works. I'm just saying, do they come in a 3-pack? Is that what's going on?
Yes, I purchased a 3-pack, and
I thought you made 3 separate orders for boxers.
No. They come in a 3-pack.
That's why I was stunned at the number 4.
Well, this is pretty good. I'm going to try a second one, but and in fact, we can actually hook you guys up if you'd like to try these products on your own. We have a promo code TheGoCast, which you can enter in at manscaped.com to get 20% off your entire order and also get free international shipping. So you don't have to pay a dime for shipping. You get 20% off your order, the GoCast, and it helps support your the Gaming Outsider here as well. So give it a shot. Manscaped, your balls will thank you. So like I mentioned above, the news this week was pretty much overshadowed by the 2021 Game Awards. So we decided to take a deep dive look at the awards themselves, what world premieres we saw, and what we were surprised that wasn't there. So we always start with us. I thought this week, let's start with the community and see what they had to say. Zach, why don't you kick things off with the Facebook comments?
Sure. Matthew Machant says, I'm super salty that best ongoing game category didn't even have Minecraft.
Yeah, they are still doing updates to that, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know enough. I don't know enough about Minecraft to really weigh in on this.
I don't either.
Sorry.
And Minecraft still got a huge following, and they actually just had a huge update. So I'm actually kind of surprised that they weren't even nominated.
You know what? I'm mad for Matthew now. You know what? It's messed up. And League of Legends should have been off that list. Who cares about that?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Well, they do. Especially
I actually just want to say, because they made that huge speech in the beginning of this about inclusivity, and they like want to cut out toxic stuff. Like League of Legends is legitimately one of the most toxic environments
I've heard
in all of gaming.
Not for nothing, with that Infinite Gaming company is Tencent rebranded, which is 25% owned by the Communist Party of China, who has concentration camps. So I don't know if you really do care that much about humanitarian or inclusivity.
Yeah.
Not to get political, these are just facts. All of these things I have said are true.
Yeah, it just felt scummy, but
a little dirty. Those things that was it Level Infinite, right? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
They were everywhere. So it was really funny to be like, we really care about people in this industry. But anyway, we don't care about Muslims in concentration camps, I guess. It was just kind of a weird 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
And I get it, and I don't want to, just to get it out of the way, that you cannot live a 100% moralistic good life in this world, right? Everything is just too ingrained. Nobody's expecting you to dodge all CCP products. It would be impossible.
Here's a question, though. What would have been the right way to approach that? Because I feel like no matter what Geoff did, he was going to get criticized.
Yeah, I think if he said Activision Blizzard, it probably would have gone much further away. Instead of just dancing around it. I guess it's also weird that Ubisoft seems to just be off the hook.
Right.
Which, whatever, I guess.
And Quantic Dreams, apparently. I saw Jason Schreier.
Oh, right. That was the very next trailer, right?
Yeah.
Well, how many people do you know that know who Level Infinite is?
No, I mean, this is their grand debut of their rebranding.
Yeah, so that's the problem, is not a lot of people know who they are or were.
Right, and certainly most people do not know who owns what companies, etc. And honestly, the Quantic Dream situation is just too murky and muddled for me to really know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they, because they're suing for defamation, right?
Right.
Which, according to Jason Schreier, is proof of guilt. I don't know that I agree with that.
He would say that, yes.
Yeah, that's just the way he comes across, and I don't agree with that. I'm not saying I don't believe. I don't even know what the necessarily accusations are. This is not me not believing somebody. I'm out of it. But
right, I think I do. Obviously, we try to be experts on the industry as much as we can. With Quantic Dream thing is in another country. There's a lot of back and forth about what did happen, what didn't happen. It's almost all eyewitness testimony, right? Like, there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of hard facts in the case, so it's hard to know what's happening there. Right. I do find it difficult to think that Disney and Star Wars would team up with a company if they knew if the company was openly bad. I don't feel like they would take the possible PR hit by teaming up with them.
Right,
but I could be wrong. I'm happy to take any information you all have.
Yeah, Gina Carano says hello.
Eat crow.
Gina Carano, I love eating crow. Gina Carano has lost her damn mind.
Oh, she did a while ago, I think.
Yeah, she's... Oof.
All right, CB, why don't you take the next one?
All right, Sean Coates. Even though I didn't watch the awards, I Googled the lists of winners and nominees, and I found the article recapping the trailer reveals. The new Cuphead content looks cool. Wouldn't mind diving back into that world despite its brutal difficulty. And sure, the new Star Wars Quantic Dreams game could be solid. As for the awards themselves, I usually don't pay attention to most of it. But I want to ask, do you guys think that there will come a time when the Game Awards will reach the level of prestige similar to the Oscars or Emmys? Because I gotta say, as it currently stands, some of the categories tell me that they can't even be taken seriously. Best esports gamer, best esports coach, really? I think it's really overall poor reflection of the medium being taken too seriously as an art form.
Yeah, let me say one thing up top. The esports categories are almost definitely to entice sponsors. Right.
Yes.
And it's a little transparent. It's a little transparent, a little annoying, because I do wish the Game Awards were more like the Oscars. Not all the way like the Oscars, because those are a little stuffy and annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that like you win a Game Award and you have 30 seconds to speak is insane.
Yeah, they literally gave they give more time for a trailer than they let them talk. These are the guys. I don't know, and I understand that not everybody feels like I do or we do. I can't speak for both of you guys, but I want to sit there. I want to hear that guy get his moment, or girl, whoever is accepting an award. They deserve some time to shine.
Right, 100%. And I feel like the counter argument is often, people are really watching for the reveals. And if that's true, they'll sit through the speeches.
Yeah.
So give them their time. Let developers hand out the awards. That's my biggest gripe. I hate every time I see a celebrity walk out there, I want to just throw something. It infuriates me to no end that these people who have nothing to do with video games, or barely anything to do with video games, are the ones on the stage taking up the limelight, who also all get to speak longer than the award winner.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty gross, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
This should be a celebration of our industry, not an invitation for Geoff Keighly to meet a bunch of famous people.
I didn't think about it like that. Is that what it really feels like? You feel like Geoff Keighly just wants to?
That's what it feels like to me.
How many times during the event did they people called across the stage like, "Yo, Jeff, what's up, man?"
Yeah. I really feel like, much like Hideo Kojima seems obsessed with making famous friends, I think his best friend Geoff Keighly is also quite obsessed with making famous friends.
Okay.
I do like Jeff though.
No, I think Jeff overall is trying. I just think, I don't know. He's just, this year,
it's becoming a different kind of monster.
This year sucked.
Take out the show itself, you mean?
Yeah. Take out the reveals. This year sucked. It didn't feel good. It felt slimy, especially when we get Nightmare Alley trailers and stuff. What is going on? And the amount of ads was comical.
Well, I mean, you have ads in the Oscars. You have regular commercials during the Oscars. Of course
you do, but you don't have. There's a lot. Okay, and you're probably right. Maybe the Oscars do have a lot, but you don't have the host of the Oscars saying, "And now to see the Spotify Wrapped playlist for, Johnny Depp here." It's a little slimy.
Yeah,
gotta pay for it somehow.
You can pay for it somehow. There's just. My answer is, do the standard ad rolls. Maybe you certainly don't need to interrupt it. You don't need to name drop Amazon in the first 5 minutes. You can class it up a little bit.
Where did you guys watch this at?
At home.
Oh, I get. So YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. I mean, do you guys ever think that this will get to the status level that it could be on primetime television?
Well, if Geoff Keighly is to believe when he already talks about the ratings, then it's bigger than the Oscars in terms of viewership. So the ad money should be pretty crazy, you would think.
Right.
Charge more for the ads, Jeff.
Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah.
My mouth is. Show me you care.
It's like a 3.5 hour show.
Yes. Although, I don't know if you dove into Geoff Keighly did a Twitter Spaces conversation the night after. He acknowledges about 30 minutes longer than he would have liked, which was nice to hear.
Oh, I mean, there was a few long, awkward conversations.
And there were some... I felt like he was just reading his copy so quickly. We got to get through this now. On some level, I appreciated it because I feel like gamers are kind of, anyway, but
yeah.
I don't know. But here's the thing is I feel like we're in the minority of people that want to hear developers speak.
Again, even if that is true, people are watching for the reveals anyway.
Right.
So they will sit through it. Mm-hmm. So if you want it to be this classy evening celebrating the art of the industry, show me that.
Right.
put your money where your mouth is. Tell me, you keep telling about how much you care about the industry, how much you care about developers, you want them to have their moment. Show me that.
Mm-hmm. Because you know what they don't do at the Oscars? Play trailers for new upcoming movies?
No, they do not.
Yeah.
And I understand the beast is already in motion. The engine is running. Like, you can't get away from that now.
Yeah.
But
that feels like a huge part of the draw now.
yes.
We had so many reveals here that felt E3 level of world premiere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do think there is room for a bit of a classier televised award show that would obviously have much lower numbers, but could maybe give the developers a little more time to shine.
And then Joseph wouldn't be allowed to speak at all.
Right. Maybe, there's room for someone to make an Oscars, because this is the MTV Movie Awards we're watching every year.
Yeah. Or Spike TV.
Yeah, very Spike TV. Dude,
I actually had
all the celebrity skits sucked. Like Will Arnett, who is a very funny person, deeply and profoundly unfunny on the stage.
Yeah, it felt very forced.
Oh yeah, all of it.
It felt like the majority of like the known voice actors, like all were like flowed very well. But then when you take like the celebrity like guest cameo in a game, they felt awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually still surprised that there's only one category for the voice actors in this,
as opposed to splitting it by gender.
Well, not even that. Just like best new like person on the scene, or best mocap performance.
Right. I do wish we could. For the way I hate when they rush through the categories. When Geoff just rattles them off 6 at a time.
Right. We're also giving out awards for this.
Yeah, I don't mind when it's like Forza also won for best, multiplayer and so. That's fine to me for time. But when it's just Geoff Keighly staring at the camera for 8 minutes, going like, best blah 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 blah, and the winner is blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it moves right on. This sucks.
I agree.
Gotta cram in as many world premieres as you can.
Anyway, Sean, I do not think the Game Awards can ever be the Oscars at this point. It's too far gone in the direction it is chosen. But it's not too late to, steer it a little differently.
Right. I agree. Moving on to Discord, Kevin Honeyford says, Sonic, of course, pretty floored that Frontiers is going to employ the open world concept. That's a pretty gigantic leap for the IP. I'm seriously excited about the possibilities, but also very scared. Anytime a big leap like this is taken, the potential for failure is risen exponentially. I don't know, it got me excited for a Sonic game for the first time in a long time. So, if that says anything, I'm intrigued.
I am all for a Sonic open world game. Less confident in Sonic Team's ability to deliver such a thing.
Right, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
But it looks pretty.
The idea on paper sounds amazing, and the movie trailer was great too.
I mean, think about like Sonic Adventure. Like the best part of that is that opening thing where you're just running through a 3D environment, right? I mean, it's still like basically a 2D game, but it just felt cool. Now imagine being able to do that in 3D in an open world and just run around and do loops and.
Well, I think I was reading that like you'll find little temple areas, and that is when you'll have the more linear Sonic experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can combine them, and you could make something quite special. I feel like.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for sure. Zach, you're up on the next comment.
David Newman, because I'm pretty surprised It Take-Two won Game of the Year. Spoilers. I only played a little bit of it, so I can't speak to the quality of the game. It just kind of threw me. Also surprised Guardians of the Galaxy didn't get nominated for Game of the Year. The reviews are generally positive. And I thought it would get nominated over RE Village, which I think RE Village getting nominated is a joke. As far as reveals and trailers go, I'm hoping Star Wars Eclipse is not like other games Quantic Dreams are well known for, like Heavy Rain. Choice is great, but I don't want a bunch of QTEs. If I'm going to have a lightsaber, I want it to feel like I'm in control of the lightsaber. I really have to ask a question, though. Can we really trust trailers nowadays? The idea is to generate hype and showcase the game, but the problem is a lot of trailers, mainly for AAA games, are not a true representation of what the game is. I'm not even talking about cinematic trailers, which outside of reveals are extremely pointless. Yes. But gameplay trailers can mislead the consumer into thinking they're getting one game, but when they play, it's not the same. Recent examples include Avengers and Cyberpunk 2077. It's hard to gauge whether a game will be good or not by its trailer, and it's honestly frustrating. Oof. Got a lot to say there, David.
Marketing.
I will assuage your fears right off the top, David. Star Wars Eclipse is being described as an open-world action-adventure game. or not open world, I apologize, is being described as an action-adventure game where you'll play as several different protagonists who have their own journeys of choice and consequence. It does not sound like it will be an interactive cutscene game like they have previously made. It sounds like it's going to be an actual video game. Not to be disparaging, because Quantic Dream has made games that I absolutely love.
Yeah, I liked Heavy Rain. Although, it's been what was it, like 10 years ago? I
liked Heavy Rain when it came out. I tried to replay it last year. I do not like Heavy Rain anymore.
Yeah, that sucks.
But Detroit Become Human's great, and I'm in the weird camp of loving Beyond Two Souls as well.
Okay. I wasn't a big fan of Beyond Two Souls, but I liked Beyond Detroit, yeah, I like Detroit a lot.
I feel like Quantic Dream generally gets better with every game.
Yeah. I killed off a character in the first 20 minutes in that game, like a main character.
I can't believe you stuck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the story though.
Yeah. As far as the trailers, I think we've talked about this in the past for sure. I get annoyed with cinematic trailers anymore. Like
yeah.
Just I would rather you just give me a logo reveal and say this game exists, and then,
which is basically what Wonder Woman did.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? I just like that we know that game exists, and holy cow, I am. Weren't we just talking about that like a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, I brought it up on the podcast so many times.
Yeah, like how come that doesn't exist, and now it's going to, which is awesome. But
I like to think I willed it into existence.
I also feel like the reason that we get more of these cinematic things is to get people intrigued, because I feel like what they're doing for their marketing strategy is giving, what do you call it, influencers copies of the game to play, and people will just watch the gameplay there. And then they're like, oh, now that's how they're going to sell the game.
Yeah, I am a little disappointed we don't get the E3 walkthrough thing where they do the slow walk and the camera pans, but you see the UI and everything on the screen. And
dude, that was my favorite. That's how I want games revealed.
Yes, that is perfect. Because as excited as, and I'm sure we'll talk about later, as excited I am for the Suicide Squad game, I really wanted to see how does UI represent? Like, am I slamming into cover? But it was all these, kind of pulled away shots.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we did not used to get that. Although, ironically, Guardians of the Galaxy did debut like that, and everyone just kind of wrote it off.
Right.
That's a good
point.
Yeah, but I think cinema or CD trailers mostly suck.
Yeah. All right, CB, you're up.
All right, we have Fierce, Steel Rising, Nightingale, Metal Hellsinger, Alan Wake 2, Arc Raiders. Those are the ones that got me the most. Sonic games are a hit or miss, but I'm excited for the movie sequel. The boys and I enjoyed the first one, so I'm excited and hopeful for a repeat. Kind of surprised It Takes Two walked away with the coveted title, but it is a good game, and I'm happy for the recognition. I felt that the decision was genuine. Tough year, tough call. The K-pop thing kind of made me almost shut the event off. Sorry, not sorry. In other opinion, Keanu is wonderful.
I think that was the point where Zach texted us and was like, who is this game even for?
Who watching this is excited about this? Nobody.
It was weird.
It was awkward,
audience, man. Yeah. But in an event chock full of cringy moments, that might have been the cringiest.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love Keanu, but man, that boy was a little too excited and animated.
Carrie-Anne Moss looked genuinely annoyed.
Yeah, she was like, God, shut up.
Yes, very much. And I was with her. As much as I love Keanu, I don't know if he had just drank his cappuccino or something, but he was a bit much.
Dude, he reminded me of Ted from Bill and Ted.
Yes.
I'm like, God, when was this filmed? Because you seem a little out there right now, bro.
Yeah. Also, none of that had any business being there or in that placement.
I don't know. The Jim Carrey thing was pretty cringeworthy too.
That was awful.
Yeah. God, what was that even about?
I don't know.
He just kept saying the same thing louder.
It felt like that interview from a couple years ago where he lost his mind on television.
Mm-hmm.
Or any of his weird vidcasts about how much he likes Emma Stone.
I haven't seen that.
Dude, you gotta look those up. They are bewildering.
Yeah.
Like creepy?
Oh yeah, he thinks she's the most beautiful woman on the planet.
Wow.
But oh yeah, and here's celebrity Jim Carrey to give us some words of advice, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, and it sucks because I'm okay with the Sonic trailer and the Halo trailer. Those felt like they belonged, those are adaptations of video games. But boy, I did not need Jim Carrey to do whatever the hell that was. I did not need Keanu Reeves to do whatever the hell that was. I did not
or Guillermo del Toro's new movie.
Yes, that was sucked. That was pointless.
The fact that you have essentially Jim Carrey acting like he's murdering somebody in something where, like, oh yeah, he's going to say something profound, and it's like, look, I'm murdering, like, to the point that I'm like, this is unnerving.
Went on way too long. I did like that Ben Schwartz was like, and there was that. He seemed just as confused as I have, or we were.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into the actual awards. First off, Game of the Year, we already saw that was It Takes Two.
That felt, I was happy about that.
I was very happy about that. Yeah. I always feel guilty when I root for a game when I haven't played all of the other titles to completion. Mm-hmm. But, you know, It Takes Two made me want to see that game to completion right away.
It felt like the kind of thing you want to prop up. And Resident Evil Village, I found disappointing myself. You know, like 6 out of 10, it was fine. But then like another, just like the current year's Ratchet and Clank being nominated was weird to me.
Wow, that game was great.
Yeah.
Was
it mind-blowing Game of the Year contender?
In terms of fidelity, I would say.
And I don't care. Like,
you don't care about that, but the game was genuinely fun to play. It just felt like a souped-up PS2 era game.
Right.
It just
as did the last Ratchet and the one before it.
Yeah. The fact that Guardians of the Galaxy was not on that list actually really pissed me off.
Yeah, David mentioned that in his thing above.
I actually texted you guys. I'm like in our text group while we were watching this, I'm like, what's going on? Because it felt to me that there was other games like throughout the entire night. I'm like, why are some of these on here? And other games are being like glossed over.
Well, when's the cutoff? Because, you know, we're still in December and Halo's here. You know, like what? I don't know.
Which won the fan vote for Game of the Year.
Right. Even though it had been out for, 2 days at that point?
That was based on the strength of the multiplayer alone, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, mm-hmm. But Guardians won other awards.
It is very strange that Guardians of the Galaxy was not Game of the Year. But it's not a hill I'm going to die on.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, It Takes Two, very happy.
Yes, as was Joseph Fair. Honestly, his speech I thought was pretty adorable and maybe made me tear up a little bit.
It was good. I was surprised because all the drama's going on with them right now, right? They don't have to change their name yet.
The fact that they kept dropping like It Takes Two, I'm like, okay, that feels pretty good,
dude. I didn't even feel about that. I didn't even think about that at all.
Yeah,
I just of course, he had to say after the Oscars. That's his thing.
Yeah,
but there was something about his speech where he was like,
talking about his daughter having kids is the best thing,
right? But he's like. But he's like, you think it's all BS before you become a parent, but no, it's all true. Like, it's all I care about now. I thought that was like really beautiful.
Yeah, he made like a tweet showing his picture of him holding his daughter the next day.
Right. It's like, this is my real award.
Very sweet. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
That actually brings up an interesting point because if they lose the lawsuit later on, do they have to like retcon
the award?
The awards?
They have to go get it re-engraved.
Oh, man. But I mean, but that's just the cool thing is he's got the award with the game as that name. So even if they do lose this lawsuit or whatever, he still got that. It almost, which to me wonders. You know, I think somebody above said that I think it was Ferris said that the award felt genuine.
Yeah.
If they did kind of push that because of the drama, because of them getting the shaft of that whole story right now, did that have anything to do with it? Do you think?
No, because that game generally received like high praise.
Yeah, we know. You know, most of the voting board is known, right? So it's mostly just critics and stuff.
I was expecting Deathloop to take that award. I really was.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, for multiple reasons.
Yes,
but I'm very happy that It Takes Two because seriously, if you haven't played it, get a buddy and play it. It's
you only have to buy one copy.
Yeah, exactly. And was there rumors of it coming to Game Pass? Not now. Now that it's one, there's no way that's going to happen, right?
Well, no. Well, all of EA stuff gets on there eventually.
Oh, that's true because I always forget it's an EA game. So, anyway, other awards: best game direction, Deathloop. That was no surprise to me. I don't know about you guys.
No, although I don't know if you saw the because they put all the the nominees in the little boxes or whatever. But Josef Fares, when he lost, he pointed at the screen and did like a fake punching his fist into his hand thing.
Yeah.
Like he was fake mad about it, and he's like glaring at the camera. I thought it was really cute. It's very on brand.
He's an interesting cat.
Yeah, it's weird. It'll always be weird to me that you don't get game direction, but you do get game of the year.
Yeah. Best narrative, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. You both have finished that
surprise.
game. So,
Yeah, well, that is the correct choice.
Yeah. Best art direction, Deathloop. Seemed like the right call there.
No, Psychonauts 2 got robbed, son.
You think so?
Yes. Not only
Which
does
one?
it look beautiful, but it changes Psychonauts 2, but it also changes art style several times, and it always works.
Oh, that's a good point. Actually, wasn't Kana nominated for that one as well? I kind of expected that to happen there, which it did get one.
Yeah.
Best score or music went to Near Replicant version,
right? Which makes sense. Which I feel like it's only in this category because the only part of the game that's technically new is the soundtrack.
Right.
It's all remastered, remixed, rescored, etc.
I really wanted them to read the full name.
That would have been amazing.
I can just see Geoff Keighly be like, Near Replicant version 1.22.
Yeah. And I mean, the power of that music, I did go back and listen to the soundtrack after I beat the game. So,
yeah.
I mean, it clearly had an effect on me, and it's not just a nostalgia thing because I never played it before. So, best audio design, Forza Horizon 5. CB, you'll have to attest to that. Have you been using the EPOS?
Bar none.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of work that you have to put in to make all those cars sound genuinely like they sound, and like actual like tire sound, like just all around. Like I agree with that one.
All right. Best performance went to Maggie Robertson from Resident Evil Village. She played Lady Dimitrescu.
Sit on me.
Dimitrescu. Yeah, she definitely got horny points there.
And she's tall too, by the way.
Yeah, she is.
I was like, holy cow. Games for Impact, no surprise to me, was Life is Strange True Colors.
Yeah, I'm still not super clear on what this category means.
I don't know how to say it in a politically correct way, but
okay.
Yeah. Let's see what's up next. Best ongoing game, Final Fantasy XIV. I've been hearing a lot of positive things about Final Fantasy XIV.
Based on anything I've ever heard about that game, that sounds right.
Yep.
I'm just glad it wasn't Fortnite.
Yeah. Best indie game and best debut indie game was Kana, Bridge of Spirits.
Was that not published by PlayStation? Was I mistaken?
I do not remember the publisher.
Okay, I thought it was a. I'm probably wrong. I must be wrong if it's in this category.
Well, yeah, if it's an indie.
Well, yeah, but the industry plays pretty fast and loose with the word indie generally.
That's
like
true.
Indie developer, but not indie publisher.
Right. No, but it is, yeah, published by Ember Lab. So I stand corrected. It is 100 is a top to bottom indie game.
All right. Best action game, Returnal, which that just intrigues me more about that game. I kind of want to try it.
Wasn't mad at it.
Yeah. This one was a surprise. Best action or adventure game went to Metroid Dread.
Yeah,
I was not surprised.
Really?
When I saw it, when I was like, oh, we're doing the Nintendo bump this year, are we? But only for this category.
I feel like Nintendo hardly ever wins these things except for like best family game or something.
Which ironically
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, I feel like it usually, big Nintendo releases generally sweep the awards they're up for.
I just didn't think this was as big of a title as like a Mario or a Zelda. Like, this one just felt like a game that I wasn't expecting to be popular. I'm not mad at it. I love the game.
No.
Clearly love the game.
I mean, the game, it sold better than the rest of the Metroid franchise combined, right? Isn't that true?
I would believe it. I don't remember seeing that.
I feel like it's a pretty big deal of a game. That's all I'm saying.
Well, a lot of it was those amiibos too. If they're
just
lumping those in
amiibos.
there.
Sure, the amiibos sold all of the Metroid Dread copies.
No. I'm saying that like if they are lumping that in with sales, because dude, those were hard to come by for.
I know. Yeah.
I'm just surprised by that one for being a 2D side-scrolling game. Like action adventure, like I think like the big grand sweeping games.
Right. Guardians of the Galaxy. Gosh darn it.
Yeah. So I was just surprised by that one.
Yeah. Best RPG went to Tales of Arise. Zach, do you agree with that?
Of the nominees, yeah.
Okay.
I guess I don't really know what else would be. It's not a big year for RPGs, was it?
Didn't feel like it. Best fighting game went to Guilty Gear Strive, which I have seen that game firsthand, and that game is nuts. Yeah. And apparently that game is a fighting game that works well for people that aren't good at fighting games, is what I've been told and what I've seen a little bit. So, best family game goes to It Takes Two. That didn't seem like much of a surprise.
Which is funny because it's usually 5 nominees from Nintendo.
Yep. Yeah.
And this time it was 4 nominees from Nintendo, and the one that was not was the winner.
Yeah. Best sports racing game, Forza Horizon 5. Best sim strategy game, Age of Empires 4. Best multiplayer game, It Takes Two. And most anticipated game was Elden Ring, which was no surprise there.
2 years in a row.
Second year in a row.
Yeah. Well, they expected the game to be out by now, so.
Right.
All right, let's go next to the announcements. Now, I don't expect us to go through every single one of these because it would take us 3.5 hours just to talk about each and every one of these trailers that we saw. There was a lot.
No. I mean, you can, I don't know, you just list them, and as we're excited about them, we can say something, right?
Okay.
Well, the most important ones up first.
All right, well, let's go through the pre-show, which I think you said you weren't there for. You didn't get to watch live, right, CB?
No.
Tunic, which has a release date of March 16th, and I felt really stupid because I thought this game was out already.
Yeah, it was a really funny text chain in our message log.
Yeah. CB, obviously. And did you play through the entire demo?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I can't wait for more.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Tunic.
And then it was just like more for CB because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre trailer was right after that, which apparently is featuring the actual actor from the film.
Oh.
As Leatherface.
Didn't know he was still alive.
So, that's the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre game since the Atari 2600.
There you go.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of tired of the formula of like 4 people versus one bad guy.
The Dead by Daylight blueprint. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll buy it. I'll play it. I don't care.
I mean, I'm excited for the Evil Dead co-op game.
Yeah.
Homeworld 3, releasing Q4 of 2022. We're getting a Telltale series based on the television show The Expanse, which is a show I've never watched, but I've heard.
Yeah, weird choice.
Especially since the show is wrapped.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's a good time to do it if it's done and then people want to go back and experience it more. Why not?
Well,
yeah, but I feel that was like, oh, well, we could just pick this up because the license is going to be super, super cheap.
Okay.
Yeah, I also wouldn't get super excited for this if you're a fan because they still have The Wolf Among Us 2 promised first.
That's
true. We haven't heard a peep of that.
Yeah. Let's see. Babylon's Fall. You guys just stop me if there's one you want to talk about. Babylon's Fall, March 3rd, 2022. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Thirsty Suitors. Evil West.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's the first time we saw gameplay for this game, right?
Right. It had the CG trailer last year, and we kind of collectively sighed because it means nothing.
Yeah.
But this looked awesome. This was like almost like a third-person Doom or something in terms of like pace and brutality. It was awesome. I'm
third-person Doom if it took place in a steampunk western.
Right. Yeah, a weird western for sure. But it looks incredibly fun. I would have assumed it was first person based on the CG trailer.
Yeah,
this is why gameplay is essential.
That got me more excited than anything up to this point when I was watching the show. I was like, I have to play this game.
I'm so happy I begrudgingly took dibs on it last year when it was announced.
Yeah, right.
For review. Yeah.
Have a Nice Death was shown. I really could not understand what that game was from the trailer. Planet of Lana, which looked like a very relaxing type of game. And then they closed the pre-show with saying it was going to be something Persona, which is a series I wish I loved. I've heard nothing but great things about it. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which is coming to PS4, PC, and Switch on March 10th. And this is a weird thing to end the pre-show with.
Yes,
right,
it's weird on multiple fronts. One, it's just a port, so that's a weird thing to get as your closer. It's actually weird. It's also weird that it's just not on Xbox. I don't know why Atlas has such an aversion to Xbox, especially when the original was on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense to me. But perhaps the most bewildering is that they brought out the voice actor for Teddy, had him read new lines, so you're like, finally, this is it. the moment Persona 4 finally getting ported off Vita to consoles people care about, off the PS2, bring it to the modern era. Nope, it's a fighting game. And now if you're a new Persona fan because of Persona 5 and you're excited about Persona 4, do not play this game. It will directly spoil the events of both Persona 4 and 3 openly. And makes no sense to me to re-release this game without Persona 4 being available in some way, because it is a canonical sequel to that game and a canonical sequel to Persona 3. It brings those characters together and ties up some loose ends and provides a couple new questions. This release makes no sense to me.
Especially as a show ender.
The pre-show and the main show, their enders were both kind of duds.
They were both farts in the wind.
Yeah.
Let's go to the show proper to kick things off.
Let's get started
with Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. You guys were practically drooling through text messages while we were talking about
the show with a showstopper on this one, man. This great.
To me, this felt like what they should have ended the show with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I generally think it was in the reverse order.
Yeah, because wow, this game looks so good.
Yes,
they call it a gameplay trailer. I still don't feel like I understand what the gameplay is, because the only real gameplay we got was running and shooting an occasional spear.
Yeah, back to that earlier comment about how, or I think it was David Newman talking about how trailers don't really show you the gameplay anymore. This trailer is definitely a little bit at fault for that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, don't be afraid. Just put the frickin' HUD on the screen. We know what a game is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, from the first Hellblade, there really wasn't much of one.
You know what? You're correct. There was not. It was still hard to find out what the gameplay was here and what was cutscene. But I stand correct. You're absolutely right. Hellblade, in fact, went out of its way to not have a heads-up display.
So, it felt like the first game, just cleaner, more refined. Like, the action was there. Like, the fact that there actually is some fighting in this one.
There was some fighting in the first one.
Not to this level.
No. I hated fighting in the first game. Yeah,
I think this looked like Ninja Theory finally got what it always needed, a budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is, like, you could almost, they called it a gameplay trailer, but if you hadn't told me it was a gameplay trailer, I might have believed it was just a cinematic trailer, because the transitions between cutscene and gameplay were absolutely seamless. There was no gap. There was no, stutter. It just, I don't know. Well, it was very impressive.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more
I really don't think there was much of a CG thing to it. It was just the opening, and I think, every time she was turning and running, so, you have what you're doing, and then as it's backing, depending on, how much you back, it turned the camera to run.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there was much of a CG trailer there. I think it was just, the first opening, 15 seconds.
No,
and then it was all
I'm not
gameplay.
saying it was a CG trailer. I'm saying if I hadn't been told it was a gameplay trailer, I might have believed it was a CG trailer.
It looks.
But you were saying the cut between cutscene and actual gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was cutscenes.
There was parts where where the player was not controlling anything.
Right. I mean, the camera cut away from Senua once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, it'd be more like a QTE event. Be like,
yeah.
I think that's probably what was missing from the UI was press X now or something like that.
You can't do that anymore. People would lose their minds.
Yeah, for real.
They would act like the whole game was ruined.
By the way, just a reminder, guys, we don't have to pay for this game any extra.
I know.
Right.
I'm so over the moon for this game. I cannot wait.
Yeah, looks really good. The next one was a big surprise. We kind of talked about it already. Star Wars Eclipse, which you guys are both familiar with this aspect of Star Wars way more than I am. Is this High Republic?
High Republic,
right? Yeah. 200 years before the Phantom Menace.
Oh, I'm really excited for this as well.
Yeah, all the books, the comics have been a little hit or miss, but all the books so far have been really, really great. Especially the adult prose novels have been excellent. Both of them felt like something was happening on almost every page that was important. They're tremendous. It's a very exciting time for Star Wars. This looked way gnarlier than anything in the High Republic so far, just in terms of tone. It just looked kind of dark, a little bit grim, because the High Republic is supposed to be the golden era of the galaxy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
This did not look like that was the case. So this is probably at the tail end of the High Republic, I would imagine.
I got a little disappointed because when they first showed it, I was really hoping it was going to be like a revived 1313.
I really thought it was going to be a Bane thing at first.
I could have seen that too, but I'm still excited.
Yeah, and these kind of CG trailers can work a little bit better because we are aware of what Star Wars is. So and I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm curious to see what an action adventure from Quantic Dream looks like.
Yeah,
I am as well. Next up, Lost Ark. I'm struggling to remember what that was.
Forgettable.
Yeah, I don't remember at all.
Then a couple pretty big reveals here. Wonder Woman, which we already gushed over.
Right,
Finally.
I got screaming all over the internet about this one. I feel like I've been waiting for this game for many years, especially as the DC guy. I absolutely loved it. I screamed to the television. This is my most exciting announcement, even though we don't really know anything. But Wonder Woman combined with Monolith sounds pretty great, especially if the Nemesis system is confirmed to be in the game. I think that sounds amazing with Wonder Woman, because you could do a pretty close translation of Shadow of Mordor. Just slap Wonder Woman in there and make a pretty darn good game. So as long as they're given the time to do this, I'll
play it.
I'm over the moon excited. Couldn't be more excited. This is very, very, very exciting.
I'm excited for the next one.
Did either of you see Alan Wake 2 being announced at this?
No, that was completely out of left field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam Lake being there already was quite a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Wake 2. Yeah, who knew? Remedy is really committing to this universe they're building. And I think this is a wise game for them right now, because if it bombs like the first game did, you have Control 2 to fall back on.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So this
is not only that, like the fact that they said so many times in the interview, they're like, we're going full psychological horror,
survival horror, even.
Yeah, survival horror, but with they did say a psychological tone to it.
Right. Well, if you remember, all the marketing for the first game was a psychological action thriller.
Yeah,
that's
and just it's got such a creepy vibe to it. I think Scott even said he's like Silent Hill.
No, that was you.
Oh, it was. Oh, yeah, because I was like Silent Hill, and then all of a sudden I saw the caution tape.
Yeah,
I was like,
caution tape was
Alan
weird.
Wake.
As soon as I saw the caution tape, I was like, yes, Alan Wake. I don't know what it was, but it was it gave it away for me. Yeah, I'm very excited for this. You saw a split second of Mr. Scratch, which is cool. It looks like Alan's just trapped in the dark place. I assume Jesse Faden will make an appearance in this game.
Control this house.
That was going to be my question. Do you think they're going to tie in all that together?
If you've played the Control DLC, yes.
Yeah.
Those two characters are on a crash course for each other.
All right, next up we saw the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the film, which is due out on April 8th. I kind of dug the first movie. That's not one that I'm like racing to rewatch or anything, but I quite enjoyed it, and I think this looks like it's just picking up right where the other one left off.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. I think it kind of sucks that only Tails' voice actor gets to keep her job. But otherwise, it's cool.
Wait, what now?
Because Tails' voice actor for the movie is the one from the games.
Oh.
But everyone else is, a celebrity.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I thought it was actually a really classy move of Roger Craig Smith to promote this on his own Twitter account. Like, hey guys, just so you know, you may want to, be watching the Game Awards for some pretty awesome news.
Yeah.
So clearly he knew what was going to happen, and he's not the voice anymore, and he's still promoting it. So
it's a good time for Sonic fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
But sure. Knuckles, voiced by Idris Elba, kid.
I didn't think that was going to work, and it totally did.
Oh man, I thought it was going to work from minute one. I don't know if you saw I think it was the director tweeting about it. Like apparently Idris Elba is really concerned about the character's motivations and stuff. He did not just come in to read a script. He was like, but why does he care so much about the Chaos Emeralds? Which I think is cool.
That is cool. Horizon Forbidden West continues just to blow me away.
Fine, yeah.
It looked fine.
It looks like Horizon. I don't know what you want to say.
Oh, man.
Man, some of the new bot models look awesome.
Just the detail on that is just nuts to me. I just want to be doing that kind of gameplay again. I don't know.
It does seem a little frenetic compared to the first game.
Frenetic? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, like very
frenetic
fast.
Means like
well, very fast paced, like so much going on in a fight. Compared to the first one where like you could be very methodical on how you did things. This one is just like, and you versus 40 people go.
Yeah. Oh, you guys played a different Horizon than I did.
I was very slow paced about mine.
No, I was definitely tactical, laying down traps and stuff, but I still felt like the combat was frenetic and frenzied.
Not compared to what they were showing in that trailer / gameplay footage.
Hey, look, man, I'll play it. I'll play Horizon 2.
Also, Final Fantasy VII Intergrade was announced for PC. We talked about that in the Zach talked about that in the new releases already, which is available this week. Destiny 2 is getting an expansion called Witch Queen on February 22nd. Some other games, let's see, Splitterhead, Nightingale, Gollum. That trailer still just intrigues me.
You see, this trailer sucked because it was a CG trailer and we've seen gameplay of it, so I don't know why you're hiding now.
Yeah.
But I hate it because I don't really want to play as Gollum, but I do want to play a single-player stealth game, especially with Lord of the Rings trappings.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get single-player stealth games anymore. So I'm definitely going to play it. It's just, I'm a little curious on how... Will I like Gollum Fisher more by the end, you know?
Let's see, Somerville, which is interesting because I did not see who the developer was of this. I was watching like, man, this looks like Limbo. And sure enough, it's that developer, so... Yeah,
this is like the third or fourth trailer we've seen of this game. Let's put it out already.
Yeah, I'm ready for some more of that type of game. I really liked Limbo and Inside a lot.
Yeah, love Limbo. Inside was fine.
I like the end of Inside a lot.
It was all right. Yeah,
I thought that was cool. Cuphead announced a DLC called Delicious Last Course. CB is very excited about that.
Yes,
releases on June 30th.
It's my birthday.
I want to talk about this reveal just for the sheer fact that there was a musical act to reveal this, and they were doing like some very old school, I don't know, like 40s style music. That wasn't live, right? There's no way they were singing that live. That was pre-recorded.
Why wouldn't it be live?
It sounded so crystal clear. I don't know. It sounded like a recording to me.
No, I think it was live.
No, it's probably live.
I don't know why you would phone in the one song.
It had a very postmodern jukebox feel to it.
Yeah, I mean, I hated that it was there. Had no business being at an awards show. Not as bad as Imagine Dragons coming out and weirdly singing Bastion.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I did like Sting opening the performance, though, doing that song.
I hate Sting.
Yeah, I also hated that. None of these people had any business being there.
Man, I liked that Sting song a lot.
I've always hated Sting.
Really?
I don't care about Sting one way or the other. What is he doing there?
He was on that song is on the soundtrack for Arcane. That's why.
What do I care about Arcane at a video game awards show?
It's related to video games. I'm just saying
that is a tangential way for Geoff Keighly to meet Sting.
We already talked about Sonic Frontiers, and next up was Warhammer Vermintide 2, which is not the Warhammer game that CB is super stoked for. No. A little title called Chia. Am I pronouncing that correctly? TCHIA?
Chia.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
And then Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. We finally saw somewhat of gameplay. I was kind of doubtful of this game, but this looks fun, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, the best developer in the biz coming back with a new game. Say it ain't so.
Looks really good.
I think it looks absolutely brilliant. I am surprised at how funny I find the trailers because I really was worried about the Arkham people making a action comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like they're doing it, man. The Flash going like, "Why don't you just mail me the bullet?" Really cracked me up. Like, I think this game looks fun. I think I could play this for hundreds of hours. Like the idea of a repeatable shooter that I can play co-op with my friends in the DC universe. Like, I'm just done hiding my biases at this point, guys.
And plus, they name dropped Green Lantern in the trailer too.
Yeah, John Stewart was in the last trailer.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was never been a big fan of King Shark in the DC universe, but that character's really starting to grow on me.
Yeah, his star is rising.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I do continue to think it's weird that this is set in the Arkhamverse after Arkham Knight. It's a weird way to introduce the Justice League to this universe. But I'm curious to see who the Batman will be that you will be murdering.
That's a good point, because that Batman movie is still coming out in 2022, right?
Well, I meant more about the ending of Arkham Knight.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Who will be the Batman?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm very stoked for this game. This is the number 2 exciting thing. I'm all DC.
I was going to say, your number 1 is a DC, your number 2 is a DC.
Yeah. I'm all DC, baby. I'm not hiding it anymore.
Let's see. Forspoken was shown, which I feel like we've seen that before, but it didn't look familiar to me.
Yeah, it's the Gary Whitta written game with Amy Hennig. Came into the last minute to punch up the script or whatever.
Gotcha.
I'm glad this trailer didn't suck as much as the last trailer, where she was like, "Oh man, I totally have cool powers! Whoa!" So it's nice that this.
Okay, now it's Forget a Bell.
See?
Yeah. The one that I know CB is stoked for, Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. CB, why is this such a big deal?
Oh, it's the sequel I never knew I needed until now.
Yeah.
Because I loved the first Space Marine game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just being an utter badass and running around shooting things, destroying things in the Warhammer universe as a Space Marine. Like, this was not on my radar at all. And then the moment I saw them drop in, like, I remember texting you guys, I'm like, Space Marine! And I got super excited. Like, right now I've got goosebumps already thinking about it. Just because I love the lore behind Space Marines. And the fact that I get to be a Space Marine again.
This is apparently
instead of like the RT.
Yeah.
Well, instead of like RTS style, like Warhammer, like, oh, move my figure.
Uh-huh.
Like the fact that you're actually taking control of one of the units.
Right.
It does continue to appear that the Warhammer license takes about $5 to buy.
Yeah. They're just like, make it. Do it. Go ahead, bro.
I hope they give me an avenue to play the first Space Marine, because I would like to.
Yeah.
I can loan you my 360 copy.
Yeah.
Or my PS4 my PS3 copy.
I just don't know if it's back compat or anything, you know?
I believe it is.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. I actually played some of that. If I'm remembering correctly, I got a little bit of a Gears vibe from that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely
okay.
From the trailers, I remember.
Yeah. Saints Row. I am becoming increasingly less interested in the new Saints Row game.
This game looks like a stinker.
Because that's not just me.
Well, I was already quite turned off with their debut trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't feel like it even knew what the tone of Saints Row was. That continues to be the case.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's the same darn developer rebooting their own franchise.
Right.
But this game looks like it's another, who is this for? It's definitely not for Saints Row fans.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you read any tweet that the studio puts out right now. It's just nothing but people going like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I know you guys talk up the Saints Row franchise all the time for like memorable moments.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing this trailer and I'm like, I like quirky games that have like comedy and stuff. This, like, they have yet to grab my attention with this.
Yeah.
This is not representative of the Saints Row I know.
Nope. Fall Guys is doing some crossover with Nightmare Before Christmas. We got a game based on Dune called Dune Spice Wars, which will be coming out in 2022. We saw a little bit of Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is coming out in March. What's that?
Bored.
You're bored with... I don't know. I thought the whole like thing with a Cheeto falling on the board, it was kind of funny.
I've never liked Borderlands, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the concept of like a loot shooter in a fantasy world, but you totally have guns and stuff, and this like DM is fun, but now with the writing of Borderlands, it isn't. And especially now with Tiny Tina, the worst character of Borderlands.
I like Tiny Tina, but in small doses.
Yes,
now she's
not as your dungeon master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Among Us VR. I don't know how I feel about Among Us in VR. Like, just make it in 3D and let me play with the controller. Because how are you going to get 7 other people with VR headsets? Are you going to find...
you have to play in the metaverse, man.
Yeah, VR is definitely taking off.
But this has the potential to be, like, super creepy.
The trailer was scary.
Yeah, like, unintentionally creepy for animated things.
Seeing that little cartoon man running at me with a knife, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, like, the fact that you could turn around, like, it actually brings a whole new level to this game. Because before, it's just, like, a top-down view.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And now the fact that it's going to be, like, in your face, somebody murdering you, I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, I think this concept sounds really fun. But I will almost certainly never play it.
Same here.
You have an Oculus Quest. You can play this.
I can't, but I don't want to. I just don't like. To me, the logistics of like trying to find that many people with a VR headset that I know.
Well,
it's probably just going to be a lobby.
Weirdo.
You log in.
I don't want to play with strangers. It's not fun.
You don't matchmake at games anymore.
Not in a game where you have to communicate. Like that game is like relying on communication.
It's not. What are you talking? Have you played Among Us?
Yeah, it's all about like coming to the table and like trying to talk people into that you're not the killer or you're not the imposter. That's all about communication.
To me, this seems like the perfect thing to be playing with a group of nobody that you know.
Yeah, I would want to play this with strangers. It's like when you play Resistance or Werewolf, like it's best to play with strangers.
Because if you know all the people that you're playing with, that takes all the fun out of it. Because you know how these people lie.
Yeah.
You know how they react.
Scott's
fun.
Yawning. That's what he thinks of us.
No, it's getting late, man. I don't have any desire to play multiplayer VR unless it's people I know, and I don't know enough. Like CB, you are one of the only people I know that has an Oculus Quest.
There's quite a few in our Facebook community.
Well, I'm sure, yeah. I mean, but we don't even play regular games enough with them.
The show's running long. We don't have to have a VR debate right now.
All right, let's do it. Doke 5, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't remember what that was.
That was the one with the K-pop thing.
Oh, okay, that's why. That's why I tried to erase it from my memory. Steel Rising, Metal Hellsinger, which, man, I'm all about Metal Hellsinger.
It's you all the way.
Right.
We don't get a lot of like actual death metal featured in games. A lot. And that's
Brutal
like
Legend.
Oh man.
Great game.
No. That's like old school metal. I'm talking about current death metal. Looks really cool. Just the fact that you're doing a shooter and having to shoot in beat with the music. I kind of like what was that VR game that we played where you did Pistol Whip, but like where I can actually do it with the controller instead. I'm 100% on board. Star Trek Resurgence, which is coming out in spring 2022. Tell me why you guys are both stoked about that one.
I'm a Trek fan all the way.
Right, and I admit I'm a neophyte Star Trek fan. Right, I'm only watching The Next Generation right now, working my way through it. But dude, there's something about being on the bridge and making decisions. I don't know. It looked fun, man.
I'm so excited because the last Star Trek game outing was a turd.
Is that the one based on the current string of movies?
The Chris Pine.
Yeah. It was
the
like
Pineverse.
It was like a multiplayer game.
The shooter?
Yeah.
Shooter? Oh, I thought that was all right.
It was okay, but I mean,
was not a
beyond
fan.
that, Star Trek Online is like the only other thing that's going on right now.
Crew?
So
wasn't Bridge Crew a thing?
Yeah,
I think we all own
it,
and we've never played it together, even though we said we would. Which is a classic Gaming Outsider move.
Yeah,
it is.
Rumbleverse coming out on February 18th.
It has financial disaster written all over it.
Again, not just me. A Plague Tale.
It was also perhaps the most offensive trailer I've ever seen. It's just stupid. It really treated me poorly.
It really did kind of feel stereotypical in some aspects.
Are you referring to the fact that not a single woman lost a fight in the trailer?
No, I was just saying, like, when you look at some of the characters, you're like, it feels like somebody who just like looked up stereotypes made some of these characters.
Oh, yes, it did. It also looked quite offensive, and it's chasing that Fortnite art style that seems to be in every game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was a weird trailer, and by weird I mean awful. And I never want to see this game in my life again.
All right, not just me. I feel like I'm saying that a lot this episode. A Plague Tale Requiem. We actually got to see some gameplay or a little
needs to be here now.
Huh?
Needs to be here now.
I don't think they reminded you, but this is a Game Pass game.
I did not remember that was a Game Pass game.
It was announced as such. Now it could, I guess I could be misremembering, but I remember that being kind of a big deal when it was announced.
Because isn't the original on Game Pass right now?
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'll of course be on PlayStation as well, but,
You'll have to pay for it.
Right. Which I think is such a smart strategy going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Curious to see how it played out.
Dying Light 2. I think I mentioned this last week, but I'm getting tired of hearing about that game. I feel like I've been talking about it for 3 years now.
I think if I see one more new Dying Light 2 trailer, I'm just not going to play it.
I'm still just as excited.
I want to be, but Jesus.
I love that universe and everything about it, so...
All right.
Crossfire X coming out on February 10th. Blood Hunt, a game that I will never play.
Crossfire X, a Remedy campaign, son. You slow down.
All right.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, it's a first-person shooter, mega hit overseas, but it's coming to Xbox exclusively. But Remedy is making the FPS campaign, which is crazy to think about. I assume, but it was also announced that they were doing this like 7 years ago. So part of me is like, has it just been done for a while and they've been waiting for the rest of the game to be ready? Either way, I'm very excited I get a Remedy campaign of the week before my birthday.
There you go. Going back to Blood Hunt again, I think it's a game that none of us will play.
Probably not.
I actually really want to play it. Battle Royale Vampire Powers sounds pretty cool. Only on PlayStation 5. And obviously I will need to get a PS5 next year for Suicide Squad. So I'm hoping I will play it. But I think of the Battle Royale concepts I have heard, being a bunch of vampires slaughtering each other sounds pretty baller.
Right.
The only thing that I took away from this is Vampire the Masquerade, which I loved playing the pen and paper.
Yeah, it almost feels like this game would be better served without the license.
Yeah.
If it was just called Blood Hunt.
GTFO is out now. It's out of early access. I'm intrigued by the co-op nature of that game. Not sure I'll play it, but was that the interview that just felt super awkward, by the way?
Yeah, he was very nervous, yeah.
I felt so bad for him. Like you could feel Geoff wanting to move things along, and because he had just been so snappy and quick with everything, and
it looked like a genuinely human moment that endeared me. I read it. It seemed like Geoff knew the guy was nervous, and it almost felt like, and he was like goading him on in such a way where I'm like, I think this guy pulled Geoff Keighly aside before and he was like, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he got him out there. I don't know. I thought it was very of a slimeball corporate fest. It was nice to see a little bit of humanity at some point during this event.
I agree. Then we saw the first trailer for the Halo TV series. I don't think we really talked about this much when we were watching this live. What did you guys think of this trailer?
Looks gorgeous.
It looks the part.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly, I'm a little bit more wary of this, having now gone through the Cowboy Bebop TV show experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that this is a better adaptation.
One and done season.
I really like the first episode of that show, and it gets worse every episode. And after episode 5, I was done. So I'm hoping this is better. It looks the part, which is essential. It looks like it has money involved, which is very cool.
It does. I just hope they don't pull a Mandalorian and show his face. That just needs to not happen.
No, I would say make the show about a different Spartan and have like Master Chief just show up every now and then. Make him like this mythic figure in the universe. I think that would be the best way to do it.
Bill Spartan 116.
Or Spartan Locke, whatever. It's hard to make a show about Master Chief because you would want to show his face. We don't know if this is an adaptation or if it's in the continuity, right? We don't know that.
I feel like we don't know much about this.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
It just exists.
Yeah, because I think if it's an adaptation, I will care less about seeing his face. But if it's in continuity, like the Star Wars shows that are all part of the same continuity or whatever, that would be distressing.
Mm-hmm. Wrapping up, Elden Ring.
Dumb trailer.
It was all story trailer, right?
Introduction.
There's another CG trailer. Oh yes, the pot friend that sucked.
Yes, pot friend.
That was so weird.
Yet another cringe moment in this cringe fest of a show. Very weird. And it's also just
that was the anthropomorphic razor moment for me in this year's show. Remember that from a couple years ago?
How could I forget?
That was odd.
Geoff, do better.
Yeah.
It's just also weird that a game that people have played in network tests and we have seen gameplay of is being shown off the CG trailer at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this order of announcements should have been flipped.
Yeah, this is very, like, we're down to the last three. We've got Synced, Off Planet.
Don't remember it.
Me either. Arc Raiders.
Don't remember it.
Don't remember it. And then they close the show with The Matrix Awakens.
Which is dumb.
With a tech demo.
With the tech demo, yeah. I
With
mean,
an awkward Keanu Reeves interview that led into a commercial for Unreal Engine.
Mm-hmm.
Playable now.
And that was the end of the show. So
yeah, it legitimately feels like when you read the list that everything was just flipped. Like whoever gave them the script accidentally reversed ordered everything.
They had the set list upside down.
Like, am I wrong? Like, you end the second to last announcement being a Star Wars game, and then you end with Hellblade 2's gameplay? That would have been quite an ending.
That would have been much, much better, for sure.
Well, I mean, yeah, because you look at Hellblade 2, Star Wars Eclipse, Lost Ark, Wonder Woman, Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, those are 5 bangers, and you're like, end with forgettable tech demo.
Very strange.
Yeah. So what was your favorite reveal, guys? I think we know Zach's is Wonder Woman, right?
Oh, yeah, unquestionably.
CB?
Alan Wake 2 and Hellblade 2. Sequels galore, friends.
Mine's going to be that Evil West trailer. That game just looks really fun to me.
All right.
That was the one that got me amped up and sitting up and taking notice. So that's what I'll say. Anything, we talked about this a little bit already, but what was missing? There's a real obvious one.
Silent Hill, obviously. You got name dropped 3 times in the show.
Yep.
Although I think Guillermo del Toro definitely confirmed he's making a Silent Hill game, right? Like he's back on it.
Did he confirm it, or did he?
Well, he's like,
unofficially confirm it?
Silent Hill. Would be nice to have another game in that franchise, wouldn't it?
Or wasn't like the composer dropped something about like
that was for that game Splitterhead, where it was like the composer Silent Hill.
Oh, so that's what that was for.
Multiple times Silent Hill was referenced, and we got nothing.
Yeah. No Dead Space?
It felt like a last minute. It felt like Silent Hill was supposed to be here, and they pulled out the last minute. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of build up.
Like somebody was like, wait, that game's published by Activision, right?
Darn. If only. But I think Kojima said he's going to show off his game, whatever he's working on next year. Boy, I wonder if it's Silent Hill.
Ooh. No Dead Space either. I was really expecting to see Dead Space gameplay.
I was I texted you guys even before. I was expecting to see Callisto Protocol.
Yeah,
where was that game?
I was surprised we didn't see Callisto Protocol. Dead Space, I'm less surprised at, because if I were EA, the audience you're targeting doesn't need to see you at the Game Awards.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. No Breath of the Wild 2. I kind of expected to get a name for that game announced.
Yeah, there was definitely the hubbub online. But
is that game coming out this year?
Doubtful.
No, because remember they said they were targeting for 2022 in the last trailer. There's no way. Spring 2023, that's when that game will come out.
All right. Anything else glaringly absent that you're expecting to see?
I would say God of War, but Sony doesn't seem to be super happy with the Game Awards.
Oh, why is that?
Well, I just mean like they put out their big representation was a trailer for Horizon, a game that comes out in a few months that we've already seen 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've wondered if PlayStation was salty with the Game Awards ever since the Xbox got announced there.
Oh, okay.
But I get that. I'm 100% conjecture on my part, though.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually surprised we didn't see anything from Starfield.
Nah, too early.
That game is so far away, man.
No, I know it'll be out by the next Game Awards. I understand that. It's just
it's not this far away as you think. Like we're less than a year out.
Just like Todd Howard, they did an interview after the announcement with Ryan McCaffrey. It sounds like he has a very firm strategy, and in Todd Howard I trust, because he's done nothing but make games that were massively popular.
Mm-hmm. So there you have it, guys. That is the 2021 Game Awards. Thank you so much for everybody that commented, and thank you guys for being here to do that. Stay tuned on social media for next week's topic. We have yet to determine what that's going to be, but stay tuned. We'll have it out there for sure. But that is going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, any parting words or recommendations before we leave?
Man, it's all just Halo for me.
Halo.
I'm watching a lot of Buffy. I'm in season 4 of Buffy. That's probably why I'm excited for that Blood Hunt game. I've got vampires on the brain.
Mm-hmm.
But that show's really good. Turns out it lives up to most of the hype.
I watched the first season. Didn't watch much past the first season.
I would. The show finds its footing in season 2, as did a lot of network television at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar, I remember I thought she was a terrible actress when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out she's still the worst actress on the show. I was right.
That's hilarious. CB, how about you?
Gonna be a weird recommendation for a very niche group out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for something that's very calm and relaxing and surprisingly entertaining as hell to watch, YouTube, there's a series called Wristwatch Revival where this guy repairs old antique wristwatches.
Okay.
There's just something about watching like these incredibly intricate devices being taken apart and put back together, and his voice is just calming.
No joke. I'm about to add a video to my watch later on YouTube.
It's like a Happy Trees kind of voice. Like
it is. It is like watching Bob Ross, but repairing wristwatches.
Okay, I'm a little intrigued.
And like you learn that like, man, there's like $8,000 wristwatches out there. And this guy's just like, oh yeah, I bought this off eBay for $60 and I'm going to repair it. And this spring alone is like $1,000. I'm like, what?
All those videos seem to have 500,000 views at least. So
yeah, I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole and I wound up on that. I've probably watched 30 episodes.
Wow.
All right, man, I'm in.
No joke. It is super relaxing to just have on in the background and just watch. It is amazing how intricate these devices are.
I am intrigued. As for me, I know I'm late to the party on this one, but I recently watched The King of Staten Island on HBO, which shockingly, I knew I was going to like it. I didn't think I was going to love this movie. I really loved it. And I think this might be the best thing I've seen from Bill Burr ever. Bill Burr, if you remember, was on The Mandalorian. Did you see it, Zach?
No, I can't stand Pete Davidson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I understand that, but there's somewhat redemption in this. I mean, he's not really acting; he's just being him.
Right. No, I've heard it's very good. It's just I think I probably would like it based on the trailers. It's just Pete Davidson is a big hump for me to get over. The best part of the Suicide Squad is when he died in the first 3 minutes.
I was really surprised by Bill Burr. I just don't think of Bill Burr as being like this, grade A actor. I've watched his stand up and I saw him in The Mandalorian, and he was just, he was funny and snarky.
I don't know. Season 2 Mandalorian, he might have had one of the best scenes of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but he just really, I just really enjoyed what he did in this show. He just felt like, wow, Bill Burr's got a heart. I just never felt like he had a heart a whole lot, like with his stand up and stuff. So
hey man, you don't get that mad at society unless you care about people.
That's a good point. Well, everybody out there, thank you so much for listening. Would like to remind you that The Gaming Outsider is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. His website is stemagemusic.com, STEMAGE music.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.